despite the COVID, we're going live. All right, everybody. We got people jumping in and out all night. We're going to try and keep this train a running. It's been a crazy week. I've been the Hot 10 was good last night. How Drunken Chat was seemed to be pretty good from what I heard. I didn't get a chance to jump on there. Shout out to everybody out there that's been wishing me well wishes. I appreciate it. The COVID did lay its hand on me, and it is kicking my fucking ass, man. I didn't expect it to be like this. That's for sure. I wouldn't. I hear a lot of people say when they talk about dealing with it that they wouldn't wish it on their worst enemy, and I know that's the truth. This shit is killer. So it's funny. I'm going to explain to everybody how the weekend went for me last weekend. So Friday, I get a call from my buddy. He's coming to pick me up to go drive out to San Diego. We leave Phoenix around, I don't know, like 12 p.m., maybe 11:30. Shout out to Ninth Wonder Comics. Ninth, you're more than welcome to jump on, brother. The link's in the chat. So I drove out there. It took about 5.5 hours to get out to San Diego, which wasn't bad. It was well worth the drive and all that fun stuff. And it was great. So this is the first place that I get dropped off is at the bar to hang out with these knuckleheads. So I find myself at a bar with Leg, Drew, Chris Colbert, and Vinny Kumar, and man, it was nice. This is what I was looking forward to. This is the type of stuff I was missing. For those of you guys who have ever taken part in these cons, the con is fun, but the hanging out with your buddies that you don't get to see throughout the year is more fun. And this was a blast. So got to hang out with these guys, sat and bullshitted for a couple of hours with them, which was a lot of fun. And then they're like, hey, you guys, Drew goes, hey, did you get a wrist badge or whatever for the whatnot thing? And I go, no, man, I just got here. And so he goes, yeah, I guess whatnot's having this big party and all that stuff. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. I want to check that out, So I make a few calls and find out where it is and everything. And I hit up Jack, and Jack's like, yeah, man, just stop by. So I go over with all of them, and this is what we go to. Now, this was the whatnot party. Where was this at, James? Do you remember what this place was called?
No, it was just a building they leased out. It was like, I don't know, what would you say, 6 blocks away from the convention center, maybe 7. Yeah, it was close to the baseball stadium.
Yeah, it was a very, very cool venue, man. It was a really cool venue. It had these windows that were open to the whole street, so you could see all inside. It had a really cool little basement area. They had all these cool areas. Shout out to Big Leg, who let me use some of his pictures for this stuff. But as you can, here we go. They had this cool camera machine, and this is one of the coolest things that I saw. Shout out to Greg Horn, who is a good dude, and Ant at Bird City. Ant, Greg Horn, Drew, and Big Leg did this. Look at Greg Horn, dude.
Yeah. Oh, Jonathan is saying it's a hero's house.
What up, Travis? What up,
brother? Hey, what's going on, buddy?
Oh man, I'm recollecting this last San Diego, man. It was crazy, dude.
I thought that's what you guys might be doing, so I wanted to jump in and hear some of the stories.
Yeah, man. This is and did you guys hear the sound that goes with this? Was there sound that went with it? Check out the sound that goes with this. Let me show you guys the sound. It was some type of camera setup that they had, right? And you could go, get in line and with your buddies and take the picture. And so Drew, Anthony, Big Leg, and Greg Horn decided to go get their picture. And this is what, again, I had to play it again. Greg Horn.
Man, Drew's all touching himself, and it's like, I've got the variants.
And you got Big Leg with his whiskey Coke. So
yeah. I get it. You ever be in those photo booths where they take like the 4 photos of you, and you in between the photos, you're like, what do I do next? You're like, I've done the peace sign, I've done the whatever it is, I've grabbed my friend's nipple, I don't know what to do now.
Yes, exactly. And that's what everybody was saying, Travis. They were all like, I don't even know what to.
This one's rubbing a little belly rub. It's nice.
Yeah. I just thought it was cool, man. It was really cool. So this is a perfect, this shot right here, this type of thing is a perfect example of why I love cons, because everybody just has a good time. They're not above anything. You know what I mean? It's just hanging out with your buddies and enjoying life. And that's really what it was. The con was very, very, it wasn't packed. I've been to San Diego quite a few times where it was more packed than this. I think that there was a lot of people that were kind of like holding off on going, because of the pandemic and everything. And so it seemed like there wasn't very many people there this year.
What's the booze situation like there? Like, do you have to like get it in the bar beforehand? Do they have little stalls in the con? Like, you have to smuggle it in like in your little sandal?
So it's funny it's funny that you asked that, because we were lucky. We went to that first night I went to the party where this shit went down, you know what I mean? This stuff. And here's the house drinks, right? So free alcohol, right? It was all free alcohol, and I don't drink. I mean, like I drink every once in a while. It's not like I don't drink at all, but I usually don't drink. And if it's free, I'm going to have a couple of drinks. So I went and had a couple of each one of these cocktails right here, and they were pouring them heavy. And so I was, you know what I mean? Like I was on one, definitely on one. And by about that time, the music started going, and this place was the best way to put it is how Vinny, my buddy Vinny, put it. He said it's like it was like an industry party. It totally felt like an LA industry party. DJ, speakers, lights, people dancing, free drinks, free food. People just it was very industry, which is cool. And I respect the hell out of that. Not my gig.
Can I ask you, you were talking about the industry thing. I was wondering how this works, because there's so many podcasts out there. There's so many different kind of news outlets. Did you notice that there was a bigger presence here? Like the people you ran into, like, what are you doing here? Like, well, I do a podcast. I'm here to interview this person. Or were you running into that a lot?
Oh yeah, dude, for sure. There was a lot of people coming up and saying what's up and that type of stuff. And it's funny you bring that up, because there is, I'm trying to find it here in a second. Let me find this. At one point I'm chilling and I apologize. I got to find this photo here. Exactly that. You're being introduced to people. You're saying what's up to people, saying hello to people. You're meeting people. What do you do? This and that. And that's basically what it was like,
Do you have a business card? Do you have like a American Psycho style? Like
I need one, bro.
Throwing it out there.
I need one.
Yeah, at an event like that, just be like, here's the podcast name, here's the email address.
I want to get one of those like dot business cards where it has a QR code and you just scan it, and it basically like brings it to a link tree, and then
that's the way to do it.
I think that's what the best route would be to take for a lot of us, right?
With that crowd, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
All right, hold on. Let me find this here.
I mean, those cards are pretty cheap, anyways. I think they're like $20.
Yeah,
something like that.
Jonathan,
but I mean, it's
QR
something
code
that you don't
on us.
QR code tattooed on you.
Yeah,
just so don't start working out or anything like that.
Well, I don't have any space anymore, so I'm like, I don't know where I'm going to put mine. Like
you could do the reverse out on it.
Yeah.
Do they have like the cards? Is this a thing? I don't know if this is a thing, but like you take the card, you tap it on their phone, and then it will bring up your stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about.
Okay. So you have to scan the card. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. You don't have to scan it. You just tap it onto someone's smartphone, right?
You have all their contact information, and they have all your nudes. So it's a good trade-off.
Yeah.
It's a good trade.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, like, then it just brings up like all your information, like where it's like Instagram, like your YouTube links, like whatever.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, let me find this. Jesus. Yeah, so that's basically how it happened, Travis, is that you just I ran into so many people, met so many people that I've never met. I met Adam from Bad Idea. That's kind of how it happened. Like, I'm just sitting there with Vinny and somebody's like, hey, I want to introduce you to somebody. And, I get to meet Adam from Bad Idea. First time I've met Adam. That was cool. He was a really cool cat. So anyways, let me get back to the story. We're at this shindig. The Hive Boys are there. That's the first time I get to see the Hive Boys is at this shindig. And I also meet Ninth Wonder there, which was nice. I never met Ninth in person. Yeah, man, it was hectic. It was a lot. It was totally industry party, and it's just not my gig. And I get it. Like, there's a lot of people that like that type of stuff. I'm more of like a dive bar guy with a good jukebox and a killer, pool table or shuffleboard. You know what I mean? Like, that's my gig. So about, I don't know, an hour and a half in, everybody's just partying and stuff. And I say to Vinny, I'm like, hey man, I'm gonna probably leave here in a little bit. Like, this is fun, but it's just too loud for me. And it's like just too much. He's like, hold on, just 5 minutes. He's friends with Dinesh. So Dinesh was coming up to say hello. And he's like, yeah, let's find out what's going on after that. So Dinesh comes up. I meet Dinesh for the first time in person. I've never met Dinesh in person. Like, that's another thing. Like, you guys know I've been very upfront that I am a big fan of Dinesh. Always been a big fan of Dinesh and Bad Idea. And it really like meeting him proved like my feelings. You know what I mean? Like, I was like. He gave me a big hug when he saw me, nice to finally meet you, this and that. And he's like, hey man, do you want to, he's like, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I'm just going to bounce after in a little bit. This is a little too flashy. He's like, yeah, it's a little too flashy for me. Why don't you come back with us and hang out with us? So I go back with them, hang out with them. And I meet some of the coolest cats in the original art game that there are. Like, I shit you not, you guys. And I don't want to out them or anything because, they like to keep that stuff somewhat private. But what I do want to show you is some of the stuff that I'm talking about. This is some of the stuff that I'm talking about OA wise.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. So this is some of the stuff that I'm being shown via phone that these guys own, right? And these guys are the coolest cats in the world too, right? Like, I mean, like,
oh wow,
that the original cover for that, the original. There's a Star Wars. They had Star Wars stuff, and there's like 5 guys that are just really good buddies that meet up every year like us, and just on the hunt for cool items. And they own this is the first appearance of Kate Bishop right here, that they own. First appearance of Dane Whitman as Black Knight. Of course, this, and I'm pretty sure they sold this recently for a ridiculous amount, but they own this.
Was that the piece that sold for like $1 million or whatever?
Yeah.
Or 1 point whatever million?
Yep. How about that? There you go, Nate.
Oh wow!
Oh my god!
Yeah.
I saw that when it went up for auction originally, and I watched it for about 10 seconds until the number was just astronomical.
So
that piece came from Houston.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, these guys, they have everything. Like they've been really smart on their collecting and what they collect and how they collect, and it's very impressive. And it's even more impressive that they're actually a bunch of cool, just low key dudes. You know what I mean? They're not the type of people that you would expect to just be out dominating an industry like this. They're really cool, low key cats, man, and it was a lot of fun. So let me keep going here.
Hey, Brian, do you find that people like that, you don't have to tell me who they are or anything like that, of course, but is this people who come from wealth, or they're like self-made? Like who?
I think they're, most of them are probably self-made. I don't
based
know
on the vibe you got from them.
Yeah, they were really
Jesus
cool.
Christ.
Yeah, that too.
AOA, is that Joe's?
Hey, you guys, real quick.
I wish.
AOA with the very first super chat ever for the channel.
Nice.
There we go,
nice.
brother.
Awesome.
There we go, brother. Congratulations, AOA. I appreciate you. And I thank everybody for getting us to 1,000. We're going to get to more in that in a little bit. But yeah, man, it was really cool. So these guys, and I just really want to say thank you to them again. You know, I doubt they're going to hear this, but you know, they their hospitality was next level, and you know, it was really cool for them to
Oh man, you gotta be
yeah.
kidding, dude.
Yeah, and this is just one guy. Like the other guys, you should have seen the shit that they were showing. The other guys were showing me. Like,
wow.
Yeah, next level type shit. So some of the there we go. How about that?
Oh, shit.
So
I can't afford the comic.
So one of the craziest things that happened, right, is I'm talking to the guy that owns all this art, and I'm like, hey man, he shows me some Strange Academy, not Strange Academy, yeah, Strange Academy.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, you guys, my head is fucking. Woo.
Oh wow.
Strange Academy art. And he's like, yeah, I got this Strange Academy art, this and that. And I'm like, oh man, I love Strange Academy. As a matter of fact, you know, my grail cover that I am on the search for right now that I don't own is that Breakfast Club. The
Opania,
you know, I want to own the Opania. Yeah, I want to own the Opania cover. It doesn't have to be graded. I just want to own it, and it's just gotten so out of reach. And he swipes over a few swipes and shows me this and gives me a wink.
Wow.
So yeah, man, it was.
At least you know who owns it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did tell everybody at that party that I would love to have them come on the show, and you know, they said that that they would love to come on, and you know, at some point we're gonna have them on. Along with Dinesh, because I think that having them on together would give them a chance to really shine, because they're just such good friends, and how just it was really, really cool. And so I want to say thank you to Vinny and Dinesh and Mike and Justin and all those guys for just, you know, their hospitality. It was a lot of fun. Now, speaking of Justin hit me up. Justin was another one of the guys I met that night, and he told me that night, he's like, yeah, man. I asked him, I go, did you see anything at the con that you liked? Did you find anything that you were into or anything like that? And he's like, yeah, I found a really cool Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles piece, and he's telling me about it, this and that, and I was like just blown away. And I was like, the night goes on. I leave from their Airbnb. The next morning is Saturday. I get up, and this time I'm going into the con. So I'm heading to the con. As soon as I walk into the con, I fucking run into Justin, and he picked up his piece. And you guys got to see this shit. This shit's gonna blow you away. Here we go. You guys, you're not gonna believe this. Introduce yourself, brother.
My name is Justin. From Portland.
Justin has one of the coolest pieces. I talked about this on Instagram earlier today. This is one of the coolest action figure prototypes, Donatello. And you got it signed.
I did. I got it signed by Steve Varner, the sculptor, original sculptor. If I may offer a correction, it is actually not Donatello. It is just a turtle. Okay. He was very specific about that. He did just put a bow staff in his hand because it said it looked good. But this was used for the licensing approval of Eastman and Laird for the toy line. It was also used apparently for the toy debut at the 1988 Toy Fair convention.
Oh my God!
They did models of this and 4 models of this, and then that's what they used to debut the toys.
That is beautiful, brother. You were right. You picked up probably this might be one of the best pickups of the con. Dude.
Thank you, man.
So that was pretty unreal to me. You know what I mean? Like I'd never seen anything like that.
That's freaking historic, dude.
You hit it on the head, Hood. That's exactly right. It's
as soon as you showed that, I've got the original 4 behind me on the wall, and I mean, looking at that, I was like, "Holy mackerel!" I thought I was doing well, and this guy, that's incredible that he's got that prototype.
And the crazy thing is that, like, that's that type of thing is you're only gonna find that at San Diego. You know what I mean? Like, that's the type of thing you go to San Diego for, is to find things like that, things that you're not going to find anywhere else.
Or Sotheby's. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Exactly. So, that was really cool. So that was my, Saturday walking in. So then I went in and, I did a quick lap. You know, by the time I got there, it was pretty picked through, like on exclusives. I wasn't able to get any of the really big exclusives. Joe's Dueling with a $20 super chat says, congrats on cracking 1K, only upward from here. Thank you, Joe's Dueling. I appreciate you. So I didn't, what I did pick up, I'll show here in a second. We're going to try and get these out. I'm going to try to get, my little weekend out of the way in the first hour here. I walked around. I spent about 3 hours in the con on total, which is not very much, for going down there for 3 days. That shows you guys like how great it is just to be able to finally hang out with your friends and see people that you usually only see like this or through text or through whatnot or, YouTube. It means a lot hanging out with these guys and meeting new people and stuff like that. All right. So anyways.
Oh, so I heard this year that like retailers didn't get free badges or something like that.
Yeah.
So do you think that had contribution to why people didn't attend the show as well?
100%. And I'm actually we're gonna bring Jesse James Comics on here in a little bit to kind of do a little insider on how he thought of the con. Because we're going to get into that easy. I think that's a big point. So, shout out to not only the Hive Boys, but also Drew. I snagged one of these from the Hive Boys, and then Drew sent me one. So that means you guys are getting one of these as a giveaway. So's a Micah sketchbook. I did get one of those. All right. So the main reason that I went to the floor was to go and check out my favorite artist, one of my favorite artists, which is Alex Pardee. And I picked up this. This is the little print that he was giving out along with the toy.
I picked this up there, Brian.
What? Oh, shit. Hold on. There you go.
Oh, nice. That's really cool. That's really funny, actually.
Yeah. And then I picked up some of the top 70 cards from him. So I got the Trout.
Oh, wow.
Tell me you got the Acuna.
I got the Trout.
Nice.
What up, Richie?
What's that?
I got the Polar Bear Pete Alonso.
Love it.
Did you get the goat?
I didn't get the goat.
Oh.
I wish I got the goat.
Who's the goat?
Babe Ruth.
And I got the Acuna. So there you go. Those are the 3 I picked up. He gave out these. These were his freebie giveaways that he gave out, which is really cool. But the coolest thing that I got from him.
Oh, wow.
Print.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely gorgeous.
Great.
Yeah.
What size is that?
That's what she said.
I don't know. It's probably like 11 by 17 or something.
Yeah,
like
they're
that.
about 11 by 17.
Now, will you keep that for yourself, or is that a Mother's Day gift?
That is going to go up, brother, behind me on the wall here.
Nice.
So we're gonna put that up, and it's gonna be part of the podcasting room. It's gonna get framed. It was numbered out of 100. He only did 100 of them. So I'm gonna do a nice little video on that, just because of like how cool it was to meet him, and he was super, super cool, super friendly. Like when I told him like and I also picked up one of his vinyl toys. I think I'm gonna flip the vinyl toy. The vinyl toy is this. It's like him being dead, I guess. And so I'll probably flip the vinyl toy just because I'm not into vinyl toys as much as I used to be. To maybe pay for some of it, but that's okay. And then oh damn it, I left them downstairs. Then I got some other books that I'll show in pickups later on. So yeah, that was a lot of fun to meet Alex Pardee. That was the main person that I wanted to meet while I was there and get some stuff from. So as soon as I did that, I went and met up with these hooligans at the Whatnot place again, which was nice. That was really nice. It was just like a little kickback place at this point, and we went and hung out there for a little bit. What else? Oh, this is kind of funny. Here, I'll show you guys this. So at the Whatnot place, the second day, we're like, is there any food or drink left over? And James was like, look at Skeff making a guest appearance. I'm on a Comic Mayhem. Big leg.
Going to the basement, you guys. Basement double.
You know that's always a good sign, right? To go through the base.
James just grabs 6 packs. Here you go. Here you go, leg. Take a 6 pack.
I got told, hey, I got told we could grab those. Okay.
I know you got told. Yeah. I'm not saying. Yeah. So they were giving them away. They told us to go down there and grab.
Yeah, they're
them,
like,
so.
clear out the fridge. If there's any in the fridge, grab them.
Yeah. So that was fun.
So you're getting upgrades from trash can beers, I see.
Yep. We're getting supply room beers now. We're moving on up.
Dang.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. You never know what you're gonna run into in basements, but yeah. So so after that, I went and met up with James and Sean and Jonathan. Did you meet up with us here? I think you might have came down here.
We were no, you guys. I don't know where I was then.
Yeah, I forget where this is. This is where this place had a super hot bartender that was all tatted up.
I think I went. I went to eat with somebody else.
And this was cool. So we did that. Then we hit up the. Oh yeah, this was interesting too. The Ric Flair Whatnot thing.
Yeah.
So they had Ric Flair on Whatnot. So we go back to the Whatnot place, right? And we're seeing this as we're walking over there. And I'm thinking Ric Flair is going to be there. You know what I mean? And so we walk up to the Whatnot place. Let me get past all this shit. And this is the Whatnot place. And I see Illuminati there. And Illuminati comes up and I go, dude, is fucking Ric Flair on Whatnot right now? And Illuminati's like, yeah, dude, he's on Whatnot right now. I'm like, holy shit, bro. He's like, what do you mean? I'm freaking out. I'm like, I'm about to meet Ric Flair. He's like, no, dude, he's not in here. He's in his hotel room on Whatnot. I'm like, oh, shit. So I thought Ric Flair was actually chilling at Whatnot. You know what I mean? So this is the little setup. You can see the Hive Boys. doing a little slanging of books here. There's Big Sean.
That was Aaron Bartling with us too. We were doing that signing thing.
So here's the setup. Again, I want to give Sean a shout out for letting me use his picks, because there I am using his picks. So because I didn't have them ready, and this is the two little setups they have for the whatnot stuff. So we went and hung out there for a little bit, which was fun. And then out of nowhere, this guy shows up and creeps everybody out. Look at this guy. Like, what the hell is up with this guy, man? You see him? He was like dancing. He was trying to get in and shit. They wouldn't let him in. It is what it is. So that was a lot of fun. We hung out there for a little bit, and then we hit up after that. Probably the whatnot party was crazy. Like it was. They really did a good job. They put on the show. But I gotta be honest, man. Like the Bad Idea event was the place to be for me. Like because, like I said, I'm a little more chill, laid back. The Bad Idea party was we hit that up Saturday night. It was at this cool little tiki bar right on the ocean. Here's some pictures from it
in that photo.
What's that?
There's wizards in that photo.
Yeah, I see those fucking wizards.
Yeah,
right in the middle there.
So this is
wizards.
This is it right here. They gave away these things. Here's the alcohol was flowing from there, which was a lot of fun. What a beautiful, this is right on the water. These huge freaking yachts just chilling there. So Bad Idea really killed it. So
did you hold on to the menu or that button? Because you never know with Bad Idea. They may actually give comics to people who hold on to that stuff later on.
Yeah, man. I did.
15 minutes north of that, Brian.
You live 15 minutes north of that?
No, work. Starting Monday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, Del Mar Racetrack.
Wow. So it was a lot of fun and all that stuff. But you know, as soon as that party ended, we hit the bars and went out and had another good night. But after that, Sunday popped up. I spent Sunday at the beach, Mission Beach, with my homies, just chilling, just relaxing. And then came home Sunday night. But by the time I got home Sunday night, it was like I got hit by a fucking truck. So I did want to really get tonight, you know, like hit the ground running on the 1,000 subs. I want to thank everybody again for getting us to 1,000 subs. And you know, being part of this, it's been a lot of fun. Let's do a real quick jump in on Mighty Mel V.
Rare this is Solo
on Whatnot.
It's a Kiara cover, right?
He's about getting ready to drop a foil Invincible variant that he said he would start at $1 once we hit 1,000. So if you guys want to get in on this, here's the link. Let me drop the link for Mel's sale. There's the link in the chat. Man, watching everybody go crazy on Whatnot was very interesting. There was a lot of Whatnot stuff, and it was a blast. So
right now on Beyond what's it?
You're on. We're gonna bring Jesse on here in a second. Let's see what's Mel saying.
It's about to get crazy right now. It's about to get crazy right now, ladies and gentlemen. It's about to get crazy right now. It's about to get crazy right now. You think this is crazy? It's about to get even crazier. I promise you. I got to pull one. Shout out to Beyond Wednesday. Shout out to my man Brian McClay for hitting 1,000. I told y'all I was gonna do something. I fucking promise I'm gonna do it. But before that, we got the Forbes. You'll never see the Forbes variant. Very rarely it pops on my eBay. They'll never pop up a fucking Comics Crazy go win.
Fucking Mel.
Comics Crazy go win. McClay, stay with me for a second. Great fucking win, Comics Crazy. Appreciate you. Great fucking win. Yo, I told y'all. I was trying to sell this book for $700, $800, right? McClay was like, yo, I need my 1,000. So if you reach 1,000 to play, I will run this. I'm gonna do it for $1 1 minute.
Ooh.
I'm gonna do it for $1 1 minute.
Oh wow.
Gold foil, 9 candidates. Omni-Man gold foil. Let me tell you something about these gold foils, man. You've seen them a lot before. You're like, oh, everybody got the gold foil. Everybody got. When's the last time you seen a gold foil? When's the last time you seen any whatnot seller with a gold foil? I'm talking about the heavy hitters. They don't have these anymore. Everybody is keeping their gold foils, ladies and gentlemen. Yo, listen. I told y'all we're gonna do it for $1. Well, I got.
Any predictions of where it's gonna land?
$1,000.
You think it's gonna be 1,000?
400.
400?
What does it usually go for? What does it usually go for?
I think they're around like 500 or 600 on eBay, if I'm not mistaken. But I mean, with like 70 people watching and stuff like that, I don't know. I don't think Red Hood's guess is like far off.
Oh, and so like in a 9.8 or a raw?
420 AOA. I'm going with AOA. 420.
I'm doing. I said I was gonna do $1 1 minute.
I'll go with Rafi. I'll go with
1 minute. Let's get it.
There's almost none on eBay.
There's almost none on eBay. Yeah.
Yeah, not
Shout out
foiled.
to Beyond
I don't
Wednesday,
think there is any.
Mama Clay. Man of my word. What are you wearing? I'm wearing a t-shirt.
Here we go.
McClay, love you to death, bro. Yo, don't take us off air because I'm doing a surprise variant. Next. Invisible gold foil. $800 book at one time. This is your chance to get this. I'm telling y'all.
There we go.
All these gold foils are gonna go back up. Once season 2 comes out, do not fucking sleep, bro. Do not sleep. You don't see these on any sales anymore because you know why? They're done. I had questions. I ain't gonna hold you. I had questions. Is it a legit one?
508.
Definitely a legit one for you. My man Kate took this down.
Nice. Congrats, everybody.
Now,
That's a good pickup.
Yeah.
Whoever got at 5.
Surprise variant. I said I will not reveal this variant until we're all live. We'll be on Wednesday with Brian McClay. And
I hope you were watching Drunken Chat. I think I know what book this is.
What is it,
I
Aaron?
want y'all to be here for this one.
I'm not going to spoil it.
Miss Small.
Because,
okay.
Yeah, because there might be some people like bidding on this.
There are not.
He's not going to turn it around.
Yeah, but I think Patrick has a good hint on what it is. I'll say that.
Big shout to Longshore.
There you go.
First, but I am now a believer. I've been a believer in this book, and I've been hoarding these books. I want you guys to have one. I want you guys to have one for a great price. If you don't think that this book is coming, if you don't think this title is coming,
oh my God!
1 in 50. Miles Morales, Riri Williams,
The COVID book, bro.
Yeah.
This storyline is bound to happen. You don't see
where
this
they're
book
heading.
very, very often. Again, gorgeous, 9/8 contender. I got this under surprise variant. Surprise variant. Definitely worth the surprise. Revealed live on the show, which is true. $1, 1 minute. Let's get it. Who's the session winner? Get the deal.
Look at it go.
I tell you, man. Shout to be on Wednesdays. Shout to Brian Clay. Yo.
Wow.
Outlawed 1 in 50. Nothing else is to be said about this book. 9/8 easily
$1,000.
$4,000.
Yep.
Easily
$1,000 on the
Oh,
night.
Jockey. My man Jockey's in the building. Red Hood's in the building. This is easy at 9 contender. Easily.
Is Red Hood gonna take it down?
If you got this, man, like I said, wherever this
Like
goes
Nate's getting ready to bid on it too.
I ain't mad at it. We're at 310 right now. My man K is in the K is cleaning up tonight. K is cleaning up tonight. Red Hood is in at 400. Red Hood is in at 4. You know, Red, you don't even got to press this motherfucker.
Can't hide money.
Damn.
Fantastic pressing ability. Ferris is in the building at 410. 420 comics. My man comics.
Come on, Joe.
Josh, is Josh eating paper tonight?
Yeah, let's see. Go up to like 500, 600.
Then we get this 500. Josh, he's
there we go. 420. That's what I'm talking about, baby.
Very good win.
Wait, why would Josh have to eat paper?
He still has to eat paper.
Nah, he won that other bet. He doubled down.
Yeah.
I'm gonna run another.
He did a double or nothing bet on something else.
Did he?
Yeah. So he doesn't have to eat paper anymore. I'm not sure if he would bet on another book though. I don't even know what the original bet was.
Mel is
it was if he got 1,000 on the 125 kill or Black Panther 2 variant.
Yeah.
Oh. Raw.
So what? Andrews is it? Quesada variant. 1 to 30.
That was funny. 420, man. That was great. Yeah. Shout out to Mel. All right, you guys. Make sure you guys are following Mel on every platform. One of the best.
Let's go.
We're going to continue with the rest of the show tonight.
God damn it. I should have bought it.
Yeah, I want to say thank you to Jonathan for coming and joining us today for a little bit too. We got Jesse coming on here in a second. I sent him the link. We're going to bring him on. Also, you guys, Richie's got some spec to talk about this week's stuff. We're still going to get into that. By the way, Travis, where are you at right now, man?
I'm still in Guam right now. I'm moving to Germany at the end of this week. So I'm packing out this week and I'll be in Germany. So I wanted to come on because the time zone from Germany to the United States, if I don't want to wake up at 4 a.m, you wouldn't like me at 4 a.m. So
we're all drinking beers and settling it down, and you're drinking coffee and eating Cheerios.
Oh, if that, I'd just be like, ugh. But yeah, it's been nice being over here because it always lines up my midday, and I've been able to come on a couple of times. I was like, oh, I got to jump in one more time before it gets rough.
Yeah, man. I'm super glad that you jumped in, bro. I'm super stoked that you're going to Germany. You excited about that? What's going on with that?
Yeah. I mean, it's just a lot of moving. It's a lot of paperwork right now, and there'll be like a lot of traveling. But yeah, I mean, that should be where I land for a long time. I don't plan on moving from there, so it'll be nice, man. And I'll tell you how the shops are there. If I find anything cool or anything there. Yeah.
Yes, for sure. Shout out to Kal-El with the $20 super chat. Thank you, brother. Much love. Appreciate you.
Hey, Brian.
You'll have to talk to our foreign experts, though, of Rob's Comics and International Comics Josh, to find out like who to contact out there. Because I know they have people they know out there. And I think even, James right here has some contacts in Germany, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Not in Germany. I have a contact in Italy that has a contact in Germany, but I don't directly know him.
Yeah. Unfortunately. All right, you guys, we've got a couple people jumping up. We're going to bring in one of the most important people did this last week, Mr. Jesse James Comics. Jesse, look at this. What do you got there, my friend?
I'm just cleaning my Guinness Book of World Record class. I only have 2 of those. Just hanging out doing that.
Hey, Jesse.
Oh, the
congrats. Hey, Jesse, congrats on that nomination for the Eisner, dude.
Thank you. Yeah, it's our 8th one. And we'll just keep on striving, right? It's about slinging books, getting out to the community, and letting people know what you're about. So it's always an honor to be with 25 great other stores, and we wish the store that won very well and good job. So
yeah. Well, before we start getting in on your San Diego, Jesse, I want to let everybody know it was a couple of nights before heading out. I'm hanging out with Jesse at his shop, and Jesse's like doing his thing. He's selling on the binge bar, and I hear him out of corner of my ear go, "We're 1 away, you guys. We're 1 away let's get one more subscriber, and then it all changes. And the next thing I know, I hit 1,000 subs. Jesse is the one that got us to over that hump by telling everybody where to go. And I want to say thank you to Jesse and to your patron who was the 1,000th subscriber.
Yeah, Oscar's a great guy. I think we were short about 8 at that time. So we got 8 people that wanted to join. That's always important, right? Get people that want to join, not just for numbers. So yeah, it's a great night to do that live. It's time stamped, right? So we can always go back to watch that. So very good stuff. We're very happy to be part of Beyond Wednesday.
So let's hear about what did you think about San Diego this year?
Okay, so first of all, man, let the Ricky Bryan know that what you want to do if you're a badge is you put your QR codes right on your badge, right? So when you walk up to someone, it's just zap, zap, zap. We have 3 options here. I try to get everybody to zap in all 3. You should always carry a QR code. Business cards at a convention, they either get tossed, they get lost, they get damaged, they get used to pick your teeth and all that stuff. So QR codes are where it's really at. San Diego Con, this, believe it or not, is my picture from 1983. That's the first time I've went. I've only missed 1 year. So this is was my 38th year going. And after 38 years, I will tell you, this was the best one I ever went to. Mainly because of the lack of bumping into people, right? You walk and you got these big bags and you're trying to run over to Hall C or D or E or whatever you're doing, no crowd. So that's a good thing. And I will tell you, from the 30 plus people I talked to, all had fantastic shows, because really the people that were there could afford to be there. This became can you afford to go con, not can you afford to spend con. The rooms were very expensive this year, very, very hard to get rooms. You had to really go out. My room with my discount, with my San Diego Con discount, was still $300 a night. So you start adding that together. The food is a little bit more. We drove, so we don't have plane freights. So it's a very expensive con. Not having as many retailers, I think, was a huge benefit for the buyers, right? The just normal Joe who could actually walk up and not worry about someone like myself buying 20 exclusives, right? And leaving 30 left for everybody else to fight over. So there was a big lack of retailers this year that you can blame on one of the distributors who traditionally gave out tickets to all their store, the people that bought from them. This year was the first year they didn't do it. It was mind-boggling because it was so late into the game. Having to pay for your tickets is a lot for a retailer. Also, having a retailer badge is a positive, right? You can get into a lot of parties and you can do a lot of cool stuff. If you don't know a lot of people, having that badge that says retailer is pretty cool. The downside is retailers, if you had a retailer badge, you couldn't buy a lot of the exclusives at the con from the big boys. So a lot of good changes. I think they were for the best. After 38 years, I guarantee you next year you will be crowded and you'll have people bumping into you.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it was really nice not to be as crowded as it was. I will also say this. The prices were up, definitely up. Wall books were higher than I've ever seen them. The exclusives, just to buy an exclusives, you were in at $40 minimum, if not more, as a regular buyer, as a patron, that's just going in the con. So there was a lot of interesting things to take away from this year's San Diego. But hearing it from your guys' perspective as retailers is what a lot of us want to know. So I'm glad to hear that this is one of the best years that you have been going.
Right. Yeah. And to see how, listen, I've done this for so long. This is my 40th year selling comics. When someone says to you, oh, this con is great, within a second if they're telling you the truth or not. You just know. Everybody's personalities, all these after parties you go to. hanging out in the back or just hanging out in their booth and talk to them. You know when they're having a good or a bad con. This year, the cost for a person to have a booth has increased for them. And so when you see these books that traditionally, over the last couple of years, most con exclusives have always been between $10 and $20. That's pretty much been the benchmark. But what you're seeing is less comics made, the print runs lower, and them charging more. So that's the big difference this year that we saw. Most of the print runs that I saw were in the hundreds. Most of the exclusives I bought were less than 50. I don't think Black Mass I think they had 7 exclusives. The highest one was 66 copies for 5 days. That doesn't even make sense, really, right? You're only selling 11 a day. The first night, preview night, you're most likely selling out. So we saw the lower print runs, higher prices, which actually makes sense, right? And then it really depends on if you're buying to resell or not. If you're buying to collect, then that's a great price, right? I had someone text me today because we were selling one of the books that we bought for 10. We were selling it for 20, and he was giving me a bad time, and he's from New York. And I said, you know what? You should have gone and got that. And after all the costs that you looked at, if that book would have cost you about $2,500. So I'm saving you that time, right? So there is this way to promote on what we do. We're there on the behalf of a lot of consumers that can't go, right? So I think next year you'll see a plethora of new players at the con as you see the old guard start to sell off their tables, which we saw tremendously this year. If you went down to Artist Alley, I would say 70% of Artist Alley was new people, which is very, very rare for that to see. Most the old guard weren't at their tables this year. Most presidents, publishers were not at their tables this year, which was very disappointing for us. So you had to meet them at after parties or panels or whatever it was.
Yeah, I thought that was very interesting. I did notice that too. It seemed like a lot of the old guard were disillusioned maybe with I saw Rob Liefeld put out a big thing, saying he's kind of a little disillusioned with some of the new guard and how some of the young cats are handling things in the drawing world. So, but we'll get more into that in the future. Jesse, I want to say thank you again for everything. You guys check this out. So real quick. So just to let everybody know, this last weekend, not only was San Diego going on, Jesse had to put down one of his beloved dogs, and I want everybody to send positive thoughts to Jesse and to Shannon, the comic whisperer, for that. We all know how hard it is to do that. So I want to say thank you again for that. And also thank you, Jesse. Checked up on me multiple times at the con, making sure I had my tickets and everything. I was lucky enough to get in, so he didn't have to pull any strings for me. But I want to say thank you again to you, Jesse, for that. And you know how much I appreciate you. We're going to see Jesse more and more on this channel as we continue. Just like we're going to really do our best to make this show an industry show on Saturday nights as much as it is a collector's show. So thank you to you, and we'll see you next time, brother.
Yeah, and make sure you go out and support your local comic book store. Every day, rock and roll. Keep on slinging bucks. Jesse James Comics is out.
Later. That was really cool. That was really, really cool. Thanks to Jesse. Appreciate that. James, what do you think about that? Does that kind of jive about what you guys saw also, retailer-wise?
100%. I was fortunate enough. I've been there. This will be my 3rd time going. So I got the 2 years previous to COVID. And it was Saturdays. I warned Jonathan before we went. I'm like, dude, Saturdays, like, we should stay, like, not even step foot in the door. It's going to be fucking awful. You can't walk anywhere. We ended up having to go in on Saturday, and we walked in. I'm like, well, shit, this ain't bad, So we ended up getting a lot of our stuff done, and exclusives went quick. People had money to spend.
Yes.
The people that went there, they were there to spend money. Everyone I talked to did really, really well, but no, I mean, I agree with everything Jesse said. A lot of the old heads that used to be there, they either didn't have their tables or they had sold half of their table to where it was like half of their stock or inventory and then half of somebody else's,
Yeah. Let me do this here.
Hey, Brian.
What's up, Hood?
So I'm watching Whatnot earlier today, and I'm watching from the National, and they were doing single card sales, and some, I guess, crackhead came and took a stack of cards off a Whatnot table. I posted on my IG and just took off. She was wearing, it was a girl with like purple blonde hair, and she was wearing a Flyers jersey, and she just took off. And then you see people, hey, that girl just stole from you. And I was like, did I just see that? And I was like, damn, I wish I would have hit record, but I'm sure it'll come out with Whatnot. They record everything. So
yeah, they record everything.
Did
hey,
you
Red, check the private chat real quick, man.
Okay.
Well, just Red Hood. The rest of I sent
also
nudes through the private chat for Red Hood only.
Well, to build on what James was saying earlier about like people spending money over at San Diego, I heard the same thing is happening over at Nationals, like crazy money, like where it's like, people like our age, like with like 30 grand, like just like dropping bills, like it's nothing, like dropping hundreds, like it's like, dollar bills or something like that.
Well, at some point we're gonna see if Jack's gonna be able to jump on tonight. I know he's at the National right now. He said he was gonna try and come on just to talk about some stuff. So I definitely want to get into some of the National talk here when he gets here, because there's some really important stuff that's going on out there, especially when it comes to our boy Rip and Wax that we're gonna talk about later. So
and I still have that hobby box that he donated to give away.
Well, I do want to talk about that. We're going to get into some spec talk here in a second. But before we do that, I want to remind everybody real quickly that we've got, like Yi says, we have a ton of giveaways that we're going to be giving away this coming up soon. We talked about the 1,000 subscriber giveaways, and we're going to do a week of giveaways. Well, we're not doing that anymore, you guys. I'm sorry. No, we're not going to do a week of giveaways. We're going to do a month of giveaways. All of August, we're going to be giving away stuff on this channel, Stein's channel, Richie's channel. I'm going to be giving stuff away on Drunken Chat. Yeezy's, you saw that box of cards that Yeezy's got from Chris at Rip and Wax. We've got MetaZoo that from Marcus, and Trey's got a Dark Knight a box that we're going to give away. We have stuff coming in from community members left and right. This came in from Lewis, who dropped this 9.8 John Jang foil cover.
Wow.
And then this came in today from Dad Life Comics. This 9.8 Something is Killing the Children. Number 11 Frizen cover is going to be given away. So you guys also know about the Hive Comics exclusive print that we showed you the other day. We're going to be giving that away. We've got David Mack variants from Wanted Comics for the Daredevil book. We've got the 8 Billion Genies, the last Bird City Comics 8 Billion Genies book is going to be given away to you guys for being part of this community in August. So I want to say thank you again to everybody that helped make this happen, for rocking with us, for just making this community great. Like San Diego really, really showed that to me, how important it is, this community, and how many people came up and said hello, and said, how much these shows mean to them, just like how much it means to us being able to do these shows. Hell, I'm here in the midst of fucking a COVID hell. I knew I wanted to do this show just to say thank you to you guys. And that's the ultimate truth. So appreciate you guys. Let's talk a little bit about some of the news that came from the con this year. Richie's got some goodies that he's put together. You ready to get into this, Richie?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do it.
All right. Thank you guys for watching Beyond Wednesdays, formerly known as The Amazing with Brian McClave. We are now officially Beyond Wednesdays, Modern Comic Mayhem, Popcorn Culture, Hump Day Heroes episode number 16 is on Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I got some bangers Make sure you are subbed up. This might be my best show yet. I just want to go ahead and remind you guys, please, if you're not subscribed and you're doing a deep dive, you found us, subscribe, double click that notification bell so you don't miss any of our content forthwith. Give us a like if you like it. If you don't, give us constructive criticism. We love to chop it up in the comment section. Share it if you like. We appreciate it. This segment right here is sponsored by Sniff Comics. Use the code YouTube10 for 10% off your next order. Warning, there are legitimately spoilers here. I'm not saying, like, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, like spec-wise or anything like that. There's legitimate spoilers here. And this is like some pretty hot news. I haven't really been hearing anybody talking about it. So, yeah, here we go. All right. So, let's go ahead and pull this up here. Oh, shit, where is it at? I'm sharing the screen, and for some reason I don't. Okay, here it is. Gotcha. Here we go. Bada bing, bada boom. Oh, well, I guess it's not working. I don't know why I can't pull it up. Fuck it. Anyways, long story short, Murphy's Multiverse, you guys know him as Charles Murphy. He went ahead and he talked to Kevin Feige about all of the stuff we've been talking about a week later after SDCC 2022. Like, what the hell happened to this project and that project and blah, 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 blah. And he got a pretty good answer from Kevin Feige's camp and from Kevin Feige, basically stating that well, he basically touched on Kevin Feige and his camp basically touched on every Marvel Studios project that has been announced and was not discussed on Saturday. So basically what that includes is
do you want me to share that thing that you just popped up?
I found it. I found it.
Okay.
Armor Wars, Deadpool 3, X-Men, of course, mutants, Werewolf by Night, Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, Wonder Man, Nova, Midnight Angels with Anika and Ayu and the Dora Milaje.
Ooh.
And Shang-Chi, too. So basically, I'm going to read this verbatim, and then I'm going to go ahead and just off the cuff, so we're not, doing this too long here. But basically, Kevin Feige told Charles Murphy once, said that when Charles Murphy asked, basically said that he admitted there is quite a few titles missing from the Marvel Cinematic Universe timeline shown at the end of Hall H on Saturday. Despite all the thrilling surprises, it's hard not to wonder what might be going on with these shows and movies Feige didn't talk about over the weekend. That's Saturday at Hall H. As such, it feels right to round up every single MCU project that's definitely in development, but somehow still on the down low. Let's dig in with Dollar. Armor Wars. This was the biggest question mark coming out of Marvel's Hall H. Armor Wars, an upcoming Disney Plus series based on the comic art of the same name, was officially announced during a Disney Investor Day presentation in 2020. It's probably the longest standing MCU project yet to score a release window, despite a promising premise and a genuine leading man in Don Cheadle's War Machine. Actor, writer, and comedian Yasser Lester was brought on to serve as the series head writer almost a full year ago, and that was more or less the last time fans heard of any progress behind the scenes. The fact that Armor Wars wasn't even mentioned this year during the Comic-Con Hall H on Saturday initially caused a lot of panic that the series might have been quietly canceled, until Lester took to social media recently, confirmed it's still planned for release, ready, set, go. As history has shown, Marvel Studios is not above shifting its calendar to accommodate new things. It's very likely that Armor Wars is simply still in early development stages and will be slipped into the release schedule when the company and the creative field everything is ready to go. It's also possible the show's story fits better later in the MCU timeline, and Kevin Feige just revealed its existence earlier than he actually needed to. Until more is known, fans will just have to settle for seeing Don Cheadle's James Rhodes or War Machine in Secret Invasion instead. So basically what they're saying is yes, the director is saying, the screenwriter as well, he is saying we are ready, set, go on Armor Wars. We just, we're in the early stages. And remember, guys, don't be disappointed. D23 is coming up. It's right around the corner. And I think we'll probably get something there. Now, let's talk about Deadpool 3 real quick. As history's shown, Deadpool has lightened all fans from all kinds. Deadpool 3, though, has been in various stages of production since 2018, off and on, with its creative process being understandably delayed by Disney's acquisition of former parent company 20th Century Fox, aka Fox. Since then, it's been confirmed by the likes of Kevin Feige and star Ryan Reynolds that another film is indeed on the way. If that wasn't enough, they've also revealed recently that this is a threequel, and it will be, in fact, an R-rated anti-hero MCU canon property.
Nice.
Lead up to this year's convention, San Diego Comic-Con, saw Disney put both previous Deadpool films on their previously kid-friendly streaming service. The convention grounds themselves had the Merc with the Mouth handing out free chimichangas to promote the big additions. Nothing has ever felt more of a sign that Marvel might announce the new entry during their Hall H panel at D23. Alas, no Deadpool 3 was found on the timeline on Saturday, and we are all aware of that, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are going, what the hell? Well, at least us fans can rest easy knowing that Ryan Reynolds, along with the franchise writer Rhett Reeves and Paul Wernick, are currently at work prepping Wade Wilson for his next cinematic adventure, according to Kevin Feige last week.
Nice.
All right, so let's go ahead and just real quick, I just want to touch on this real quick. I don't remember who it was. I think it was Ben. They said, hey, we had this in part 2. What are we going to get in part 3? I say X-Force, but we'll see. Hopefully we get X-Force or Lady Deadpool, but hang in there. I'm probably going to hear something on D23. It's coming a couple months.
They had X-Force and Deadpool too, though.
You mean like Remender X-Force?
No, MCU canon X-Force. So
Okay.
the actual characters of X-Force, the 20th Century Fox is not MCU canon. And if you remember Deadpool 2, they were basically just clowning X-Force.
Yeah.
So it was more of a joke rather than an actual adaptation.
Yeah, but I mean, I really doubt they would reuse those characters again then, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to use those characters per se, but they could use those, characters' titles. So meaning that they could cast other actors and actually be serious about it. But they did say it's a threequel. So that means it's going to basically feed off the last 2 episodes or last 2 installment stories. So we'll see. I mean, what else is there besides, him just
They should
being
bring in Wolverine
goofy?
on that. They need to bring in Wolverine on that.
Oh,
Well, I think
other
that-
X-Force. Yeah.
I think they're trying to get Hugh Jackman to come in and do Wolverine stuff.
No, Hugh Jackman's
no.
done.
No,
right?
he's done.
No,
He's done.
they're rumored. It's rumored that they're trying to hook up with Hugh Jackman to get him to doing a cameo and all that crap for Deadpool 3.
I don't know. I think that because it's such a leap to have Deadpool actually in like the Disney verse, that's a risk in itself. I think they're probably going to do more of like a self Deadpool movie in case they have to pull it back and get rid of it. There's nothing that's too connected too much to the universe that can't be undone if the audience doesn't accept it on a Disney platform.
Yeah.
Let's touch on the mutants real quick, and then I'm going to get into the spec because there's some really crazy news coming up. and I'm sure some of you guys that are just into this, I know Patrick definitely, guys like AOA, you guys probably already know about this, but I'd say 90% of us are going to go, what the hell? Marvel's Hall H presentation was surprisingly Avengers heavy for a franchise with so many new toys to play with. As stated before, the MCU can now legally include mutants, and more specifically, the X-Men in their theatrical projects, aka live action. Patrick Stewart became the first mutant in the MCU earlier this year when he reprised his iconic role as Professor Charles Xavier for Doctor Strange 2, and Iman Vellani took the reins as part of a huge twist ending when Kamala Khan turned out to be a mutant in Miss Marvel's finale episode. So if you guys have not watched it, I warned you about spoilers. I apologize. This is it. She's no longer an inhuman in the MCU. She's now, well, she's not a mutant. Her genes have mutations, and I understand the deviants. Genetics are mutated as well, and they are not mutants, but yeah, playing the X-Men animation thing in the background, so we'll see. But anyways, now seems like a perfect time for Marvel to announce exactly when to expect the X-Men's return to cinemas. In a film Feige continues referring to as, quote, the mutants, but no such confirmation ever came. Not even a peep about a potential creative team. It's worth noting the X-Men did have a presence at the convention, though. However, in the form of the animated X-Men 97 series coming to Disney Plus in fall of 2023. Make sure you're subbed up to my channel. I'm doing a 3-part series on this series with literally 50-cent spec books you can get right now in that universe comic adaptation. Continued. It's very possible Marvel held back on revealing the mutants so they could show. I'm sorry, I apologize. It's very possible Marvel held back on revealing the mutants so that show would have time to shine. And besides, there were still about 8 empty slots on that Phase 6 slide. It wouldn't be shocking if Marvel's Merry Mutants found themselves occupying one in the very near future. So there's not really any news there, but this is coming from a pretty reliable insider. Werewolf by Night. It's actually pretty strange that this one didn't make the cut. It's an incredibly open secret that Marvel Studios is developing an untitled Disney Plus Halloween special centered on Werewolf by Night, but the transparency behind the project isn't what makes its lack of attention at SDCC so weird. Not only does this 1-hour special have a director and a longtime composer, Michael, I think it's an Italian name, Giacchino, a runtime and a full-blown cast in Gail Garcia Bernal and Laura Donnelly. It's actually already completing filming and is supposedly set to release in October of 2022. It seems like by this point, it should at least have an official title, yet the elongated Marvel one-shot, or whatever it may be, was not even included in the MCU's Phase 4 when Feige discussed the future timeline with fans despite coming out before the phase ends with Black Panther 2. Okay, so I'll just touch on this real quick. D23 is coming up. Hang in there. Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. Basically, they're just saying set photos are there. They are filming. This is going to be done on time. They just don't have an official release date yet. I know some of us don't even give a shit, but yeah, that probably is going to be the last time we see Nebula and Gamora in the MCU. That's just my opinion. Wonder Man. It wasn't that long ago fans learned Simon Williams would be coming to the MCU. It was just last month the Hollywood Reporter broke the news that Shang-Chi director Destin Daniel Cretton and community writer Andrew Guest would create a Wonder Man series for Disney Plus. The article mentioned that cameras could begin rolling on the show as soon as 2023. So many fans felt that an official announcement from Marvel might come out of Hall H. Sadly, Feige's presentation ended without any sort of phase placement or casting reveal for Wonder Man. Perhaps supporters of the longtime Avenger will have better luck at D23. Nova. Nova is maybe the most elusive MCU project in the company's history. The character has been rumored to appear in a number of projects since it seems the beginning of the company's history. It was once confirmed that Dick Ryder, aka Richard Ryder, the last of the Nova Corps, was intended. I had to add that because I'm a dick.
Yeah.
Was intended to appear in the 2018's Avengers Infinity War, but was cut for the sake of trimming story fat. All hope seemed lost until news dropped in March that a Disney Plus series focusing on the character was in development from Moon Knight scribe Sabir Perzada. So somebody who's associated with the Moon Knight series. Of course, this I lost my place. Led many to believe Marvel would finally make the project official at San Diego Comic-Con, putting an end to the cult-like social media campaign to bring Nova to live action. Maybe Marvel likes all the begging because that obviously didn't happen. D23, hang in there. Fingers crossed. Now, shout out to Mel. It's Drunken Chat, son. Friday nights after the CBSI Hot 10. Here we go. The Midnight Angels. That is basically a spinoff from the Black Panther, centered around the Dora Milaje origin and future. Early last year, it was reported in Deadline that Marvel Studios had put 2 Black Panther spinoff series into development at Disney Plus. One was said to revolve around Dane Guerrera's Okoye, while the other would be a Wakanda-centric and produced by director Ryan Coogler. Not much has been heard about either show since, even if many expected at least one to be announced alongside Black Panther 2 portion of the night's program. Much like the mutant situation before it, this could be due to the fact that Marvel wanted its highly anticipated sequel to the Black Panther movie to get every bit of attention. And that makes sense. Shang-Chi. Not long after Shang-Chi and The Legend of the Ten Rings became a massive success, it was announced that director Cretton and star, is it Simon Liu?
Mm-hmm.
Simon Liu would return for another go-around. It was likely that Marvel would make a big fuss about the future project with so much else to cover, but it did seem logical that a title reveal or release date could come with the outlining of Phase 4 through 6. While this didn't pan out at Hall H on last Saturday, fans can still be excited to see Cretton come back for Disney Plus's Wonder Man. So he's doing Wonder Man and Shang-Chi too, which as previously mentioned also wasn't discussed at the Comic-Con. So let's touch on this, guys. What do you guys think?
For Shang-Chi?
Yes.
Is that what you're asking? Well, didn't they announce Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Iron Fist? They didn't announce that.
That was a
rumor.
That was a fan art post.
By the way, welcome Jack DeMeo, aka Mr. Bolo, on the panel, you guys. Yeah, see, I know I saw everybody putting out that rumor about Legend of the Iron Fist stuff. Which would have been great if true, because maybe we would have seen Swordmaster in there in that role, which would have been great. But I don't know, man. I don't know what to think about that.
I got some more. Here we go.
Let's
this is going to be quick. Could you add that back to the...
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, brother. You just today, UFC champion
Kamaru Usman.
Yeah, to appear in Black Panther Wakanda Forever per report. Basically what they're saying is that he has a small role and it's not revealed, even though he looks like he'd be a phenomenal Black Panther or at least a stuntman. But Kamaru Usman is currently preparing for a title defense against Leon Edwards in August, which you guys know. But just 2 months later, he'll see himself on the silver screen for the first time. The UFC welterweight champion is scheduled to appear in the upcoming sequel, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which is due out November 11th from Marvel Studios.
Wow.
He's got to be a contender for the mantle, right? Like I'm sure they're gonna have some sort of thing where a lot of people are like, "I'm the new Black Panther. I'm the new Black Panther," and in the movie, it's got to be like some sort of battle or competition or something like that, because that would you get to like show off his fighting skills. I'm sure that's not his acting skills they hired him for.
Yeah, for sure.
You guys ready to get excited?
Let's do it.
Here we go.
Our friends Eros and Pip live. Not to get greedy, but we didn't get a Young Avenger. Where our friends Eros and Pip live. Not to get greedy, but we didn't get a Young Avengers announcement today, and you're collecting all these Young Avengers. We was sort of reminding people of all the amazing characters that we have introduced in Phase 4, and sort of where those characters go and how they form their own cliques. We'll see. See you, buddy. Thanks.
Read between the lines, guys. You see how we saw everything but a wink wink there. So here is a poster of the current probable, in my opinion, Young Avengers that will be making up the Young Avengers team. You got Kid Loki, you got Kate Bishop, you got Kamala Khan, you got the Wanda's kids, you got America Chavez, and who's this kid down here in the bottom right? I don't recognize him.
That's what's his name, son or nephew?
Is it from the Captain America series? Because I thought the Iron Patriot. Yeah, Isaiah
Bradley's nephew or whatever.
Young Avengers 1 is on the dip, guys. It's on the dip. It's seeing all-time lows since last year. I know we'll never see pandemic, peaks ever again, but it's a good time to buy. But here's the book that I think is a sleeping giant right here, along with the second print. And there's a variant. It's not an incentive. It's a retailer qualifier, and there's not a lot out there. It's an O'Malley cover. It's not the best cover, so I say go for the second print because there's less than 5,000 ordered by retailers according to Comic-Con. But this book right here is actually the first time that Kid Loki, America Chavez, Kate Bishop, and a few others that are in the MCU, what's his name, Wiccan and Speed, are actually meet together, and they actually coincide and actually kind of like collaborate. Okay, but this book right here is issue 5, is when they actually agree and become the second iteration of the Young Avengers. Okay, this is issue 5 of volume 2 from 2013. There's a pretty cool variant as well. One more dig in with Dollar, guys. Let's go.
Hold on. See, I just want to see Feige when you're on that stage. I want to see Feige totally play that off. No, who? Young what?
Yeah.
I've never heard of them. What's that? Just absolutely not even any link, nothing. Just never heard of them. What's that about? Oh, I'll have to read that. Just total stupidity from the get-go.
Yep.
Yeah. I see where you're getting at, but I watched that entire interview, and you guys missed that, but you're gonna touch on it. We're gonna touch on it in a second, but he has a lot of respect for that particular reporter. He was calling them family. He was buddying up with them, so on and so forth. And it seemed like a very sarcastic answer when he asked him. So it tells me, it doesn't tell me, but it makes me feel more confident that what we've been saying for the last 3 years, these young next gen characters that are currently in the Earth 1999 continuity, aka MCU continuity universe, could come to Young Avengers. All right, guys. We talked about this last night on Hot 10. If you guys aren't subbed up to House of Stein, make sure you are. You're missing out big time. The show's been great lately. But anyways, so this poster was leaked I think like maybe an hour after Hall H was done, and we have Kang in the background. You got the Wasp, you got Scott Lang, and you got Cassie Lang right here. Okay, there's a little bit of confusion on what's going on. I know a lot of people follow apps, websites, stuff like that. Make sure you guys always double check, do your deep dive. It's just a basic internet search, but I want to show you guys something. There is Cassie Lang in her get-up suit. There is Stinger. Let's start with Stature. Young Avengers 6, Volume 1, the 2005 series, the first Volume 1. First appearance of Cassie Lang as Stature in Earth 616. This is her right here. Kind of hard to see the way the tone is in the background on the panel work. There's a little closer up picture, but she's not even really dressed for battle. So, but here she is in battle right here, and she's not shrunken or she's not little and she's not big. She doesn't have a helmet, and that is her iconic, I guess you could say, disguise. Just boom. Okay, that's Stature. Now, Astonishing X-Men 6, Cassie Lang as Stinger. I say no. 2015 series, released actually was released February 2016, published, pull off shelf date a month later, 6 weeks later. Okay, let's look at that again. Okay, very close, right? Not very close. Not at all.
So Avengers next is what you're saying to go after.
Nope. Or yes, A next.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, there's something fishy about all this. Here we go. Shout out to Patrick. A next, number 1, Volume 1, 1999 is your official first cover appearance, first full appearance or first appearance of Cassie Lang as Stinger. Yes, this book came out almost 18 years before that book. Why is this book not moving?
People don't really know about it.
That's right. So that's what I'm here for. That's what we're here for. The Stunning Stinger. This is an up close look at the splash page.
I actually like this series. That series was great. It gave us was it May Parker and what was the Spider Girl? She comes out of this universe.
Yeah. Maybe it is May Parker, the first Spider Girl, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So
and then the
look at that.
Kid is a good storyline.
Look at that.
Yep.
It's not identical, but it's damn closer than Astonishing Ant-Man. All right. This is it, and I'm out. Well, I'll stick around, but I'll be done. All right, here we go. I want you guys to go ahead and share this with me. Here we go.
Ryan Gosling just told me he wants to play Ghost Rider. Like he actively.
When did he tell you that?
Just like a week ago.
You guys just hanging with movie stars. That's what Josh does. Hey man, Ryan wants to be Ghost Rider. What else? Who else?
Well, we know Norman Reedus. So what do you think?
Gosling's unbelievable. Boy, that's a bad omen.
That is a bad omen.
Oh man, see, we're not talking. Ryan doesn't want us to talk about it.
He does want us to talk about it.
He does.
He actively said, "I want to talk about it."
Ryan's amazing. I'd love to find a place for him in the MCU. He's dressed up as Ken on Venice Beach and gets more press than a giant movie's coming out that weekend. It's amazing.
There you go.
So with that, will Ryan Gosling play the MCU's Ghost Rider? Recently, in a She-Hulk trailer, the latest trailer, a fan on Twitter went ahead and spotted this Easter egg in the trailer. Let me get a little closer shot. What's that say?
Johnny Blaze, yeah. It says Johnny Blaze.
Damage Control comes out in, I think, next month. This is a team up with Ghost Rider, She-Hulk, Moon Knight, and a few others.
Did you see who's writing that? Adam Goldberg.
A few others. You just skipped over Nightcrawler like he ain't even there, bro.
Because
like,
he's not in the
best one
MCU.
on the cover. You're just like, yeah.
He's not in the MCU, though, brother.
Ryan Gosling played this role in this movie as like 10 years ago called Beyond the Pines. It was like
I remember.
But yeah,
With
in
Bradley
that
Cooper, right?
Yeah. In that movie, he's like a motorcycle stuntman. So you know how actors are. I'm sure he actually learned how to ride the bike. He might have fallen in love with that too, and is another reason why he would have pursued something like a Ghost Rider character if he really fell in love with bike riding.
Who's the guy with the tie? Is that Daryl?
I'm thinking that what's his name? The dude that's in Agents of the Atlas, the Asian dude that's in Ant-Man.
Oh,
Jimmy Woo, yeah.
Okay.
That's what I think. I don't know.
Yeah, so that's Gold. Or if you ever watched the show Goldbergs, the director for that. He's the
Yes,
writer
you're
for
right,
that.
Aaron. Yes, I didn't know his name, but yes, they did mention that.
Yeah.
But just so you guys know, I mean, a bunch of seasoned collectors, speculators, investors on the panel and in the chat. But anybody who's watching that's now subscribed to Beyond Wednesdays, and we thank you guys. This is your first appearance with Johnny Blaze as Ghost Rider with cover. This is your second appearance. This is your first solo title, along with, I believe, Damon Hellstrom cameo. This is your first team up of Spider-Man and Ghost Rider. This is Marvel
Love
Team
that
Up
book.
15. This book is seeing new heights, $100 to $120 raw. Ghost Rider 3 has always been a fan favorite. This is a good one. This right here, though, is a fun one because Hulk's not even supposed to be on the cover, but that's besides the point. But in the guts, you have the reprint of Marvel Spotlight 5. So if you can't afford any of that stuff, there you go. Here's some other key issues with Blaze. Here's Ghost Rider 55, and the first time that Jack Russell and Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider meet up and battle, and on the cover. Here's Midnight Suns. This is all but confirmed, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome, brother. Thank you, bro. That was excellent. Well, there you go, guys. That's what I'm talking about.
Badass, dude.
Oh, yeah.
That was deep diving.
Well, you guys, we talked about it earlier about some of the craziness that's going on at the National right now. And we are lucky to have our Johnny on the spot, Mr. Jack DeMeo, a.k.a. Mr. Bolo. How you doing, brother?
Man, awesome. And, you know, I'm excited to talk about the National, but I want to throw one thing out about San Diego, since we've got so many great speculators. We're talking spec. I got the privilege in San Diego to work with Marvel directly at the Marvel booth. Amazing team up with Whatnot and Marvel. Got to host some live stage shows. Got to spend a lot of time with Marvel executives and things like that. And I don't want to name any like specific names, but I will say it was really enlightening as like a speculator to kind of talk to these people kind of behind the scenes and very candidly. I think a lot of times we as a speculation community kind of miss the mark, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah.
And this is not a judgment of anybody or anything. Like Richie, like that was amazing research that he just put out. I really look inward at myself. Like, for instance, just if we see a Johnny Blaze tease, that means Johnny Blaze is coming. And that means he's already been cast. The wardrobe has already been fitted. And it can't be Ryan Gosling, most likely, because he wouldn't supposed to be talking about it.
Yeah.
He would have already signed major NDAs. So probably when Feige's like, I'd love to look for a role for him, that's more what he means is some other thing.
Yeah,
I think
Ghost Rider's not going to happen for him. That's what that means.
Yeah, and I think most of the characters that we want to see are going to come. They're all going to come. We're going to see them all. And I think we should be, rather than trying to predict when characters are going to show up, we should be looking at the market more holistically. We know Ghost Rider is going to come. So if you're a believer that like Feige's going to get Ghost Rider right, then you should buy Ghost Rider. And whenever he shows up, you'll be able to reap the benefits of that. But that was the big takeaway I had, is kind of how in advance these things are done. We're talking all of phase 5 and 6 is like laid out, put together, and Marvel's already phase 7, phase 8. What's the long-term trajectory? And I think that was really kind of opened my eyes, and I'm very excited to kind of get back into buying books with that kind of approach, because I really think that a lot of times we drive ourselves nuts trying to read the tea leaves about what's going to go where and when. And we can probably make better plays by just buying the characters you truly believe in, and then letting that all kind of play out as it's coming.
You know what I think that we do? what I think we do that is more important about buying the books is we like talking about it. We like to do this. We like to spitball and go, oh no, I think it's going to be this, or no, this person thinks. That's what we really like to do. I mean, in the reality of it, like most of our spec isn't going to hit the mark, but damn, do we love to fucking sit around the water cooler and chat about it.
And man, does it feel good when you're right? Right,
yes.
Regardless of the ROI. Like, it feels good when you make a play and then it really pans out the way you had kind of predicted. And I think you're absolutely right, Brian. I think that's so much of why we do it.
Oh, Jack, I really like what you said about the, not only specking out what character is going to come out, because we kind of know that at some point, but like which characters are they going to get right? Which characters are going to pop when they're in the MCU? Because just because they have like your favorite character or a character you've identified early on doesn't mean they're going to do it justice, and doesn't mean that that's going to take off. And I kind of like that we're looking at it's a greater algorithm, right? Do they have the infrastructure to do this character right?
Yeah, and I think very, very few times have big characters been done wrong within the proper MCU. I think the actual, if you're really looking at it from a return on investment standpoint, really kind of the bigger plays are what are the minor characters that they're going to hit a home run with. Like Harry Styles coming in as Star Fox looks like he's going to be a sensation. I think, the way like a younger audience is kind of enthralled by Harry Styles. So I think that those are the kind of like fun spec plays of, who do you really believe in on a lower level who could become a major character? Because like those of us who have been in this for a long time, I know my man Brian McClay, he and I have been talking about comics for God knows how long at this point. We could never have predicted, like, I remember the moment when Star-Lord was $1 book. Like when you were like digging for Star-Lord's first appearance and nobody knew who this guy really truly was at a mass scale. And then now look how kind of like kids are growing up now and Star-Lord's on their book bags and their lunch boxes. And I think that those are the things that really are the things that get me excited and I think have the most opportunity for speculators. But I think the blue chips will move up regardless.
Yeah, and it's also the sense of speaking of those minor characters you're talking about, Jack, which characters in the comics were okay, but could be elevated done the right way.
Yeah.
Like a Star-Lord. That's what made me think of that when you said
Modernized.
Star-Lord.
The biggest one is the ones that modernized. If we modernized would suddenly be a kind of more attractive character.
Well, let's talk about that real quick because Miguel asked, what do you guys think about the actor they chose as Namor, if it's the right choice? And I say 1,000% the right choice. Where they're taking Namor, the look of Namor, the backstory of Namor, the South American culture, rather than Atlantean culture, which really is, a lot of people think South American is Atlantean culture. Like that is the play to me. I think that is such a great play. And I'll be honest, I really do not understand anybody out there that doesn't think it's the right play. It's so good. It looks so good. It feels good. Everything about it, the trailer, everything feels good to me.
I
think it's goofy. I'm not
really.
I like old school Spock Namor. I like his pointy ears. I like just the I don't know, the more Atlantean. I don't know. It could play out really, really well. It really could. And I think you got a few.
I think you got a few things. I think
at
Aquaman
first
makes
glance. I don't know.
I think Aquaman makes the Atlantean backstory tough, especially as we're getting ready for like a second Aquaman film, and I think Marvel definitely wanted to differentiate there. And then Atlantis is a really more than just DC, a very general principle. We've seen Atlantis, and there's a Disney Atlantis film, and there's so much of that I think this gives them an opportunity to like have an underrepresented community be kind of showcased, and it also allows them to kind of bring in another diverse actor who has had insane success kind of early in his career, and I think is ready to like take that next step. But I really subscribe to the in Feige we trust model that like he really doesn't get it wrong, and if he does, it's not on a major scale. Namor's a big character.
Well, Namor's Namor's interesting because it's such minimal styling in the comics, right? It's such minimal styling, but so iconic. Like what is
Right.
it's like, you know, Speedos and then like a certain like look, the features that changes, but it's really that swagger that he comes across. Like Namor is
And that
his
crappy
bravado.
attitude.
He's that crappy attitude, you know. And so it's carrying that. It's that presence on the screen. I think it's going to be so key for Namor. That's why I really wish Scott Hall was still alive. I think a young Razor Ramon would have been a great Namor.
Razor Ramon.
I think the other thing to remember is like I think a lot of us that are like so diehard comics fans, we do get I totally understand what you're saying, Solo. Like so many of us were attached to the book versions of these characters because we came up with them. And these movies are really made for a broader audience. And the majority of the people who are going to be exposed to Namor for the first time have really no recollection of the comic book character. And if you step back and look at the character in today's comics, Namor doesn't really hit with the modern comic community. So I think if there was ever a character to really kind of go back and tweak and try to bring in, like we talked about modernizing, who can you modernize and then really see elevated to the next level? I think Namor is a prime candidate.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting. I think that here's another problem why they had to kind of veer off this way and take it this way a little bit different. And this is going to sound funny, but I really think that the Deep has made a lot of people make fun of the whole Aquaman type character, and they don't want that anywhere near Namor, right? They want Namor to be like just don't even think about that. And I think by putting him where they have him and having him be a little bit more machismo, this look right here feels a little bit more machismo than the normal Namor look, right?
I totally agree with that. Yeah, I think the Deep is like being a parody of these characters. You don't want to be anywhere near that.
Exactly. All right, so we all know we talked a little bit earlier, Jack, about the San Diego and what a success San Diego it was for Whatnot. But I want to talk right now about what a success the National is for Whatnot right now. And by doing so, I want to bring up this first. I want to say a quick shout out. We're big fans of Chris from Rip and Wax over here on this channel, and this is something that we saw earlier in the week. Let me go ahead and refresh this to show everybody here.
I got the goods right here. 03 Topps Chrome, 86 Flair. We got LeBron Jordan hunting on Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern on the Ripping Wax account on Whatnot. I'm going to be ripping 3 packs of each of these boxes. They're both all going to be ripped. You can win a free Jordan or LeBron. Everybody bookmark this stream on the Ripping Wax account. I'm so excited to rip this product. It's going to be unbelievable.
So then I'm watching today and I see this.
Ever.
It's coming. It's coming.
No,
Come
no,
on.
no.
Come on. Come on, Dustin. Come on.
Stop it!
Stop it.
No, come on.
I need more energy from the
People know the
Lord, my God. Get the energy
We
up
know
in
the
building.
They know
Get the energy in the room.
You know when you see that Bernard King, you know it's coming.
Is it coming?
They know the
Come on.
trigger. It's coming.
Come on.
We're sweating. We're sweating.
Oh.
We did it! Stop!
So there we go, you guys. You seen it? He talks about it. How many Jordans got pulled from the box? Did they pull 3?
They pulled 3. That was the third.
Okay.
A funnier moment was the second one that was pulled. The first one was actually pulled by 100 Thieves gamer Chris London, who we also brought with us to San Diego to announce a one-shot comic with 100 Thieves and Marvel. He hit a Jordan in the first pack, which was amazing.
Wow.
He called it. He was like, we're going to get some first pack magic. Pulled it right off the bat. Then we had a drought, a good 20-pack drought, and everybody started getting a little tense. And then everybody's most polarizing breakers, Backyard Breaks, came up for their turn. And they weren't real familiar. You know, they break modern, so they weren't real familiar with the 86 Flair. And they were calling out each card. And when they said, Bernard King, Clark Kellogg, the crowd rose up in excitement, and they didn't know why. So they stopped for a second, and we're kind of like, "What is happening?" And then, boom, next card, Jordan, and it was just pandemonium. So it was so fun to see that. One of the winners of a Jordan actually pulled the pack out of a grab bag that I was like showcasing to them. It was a father and his son duo. So that was amazing to see. Not only them win a spot in the break, but then to hit the Jordan in the break. That was amazing. I think a big takeaway from the Nationals, how many kids were there. Such a healthy market when you see that many excited kids. And a lot of talk is out there of like, there's kids in sports cards that blow my mind, like these $10,000 cases filled with cards that most of us would just ogle after, and these kids are out here flipping.
Yeah,
that's cool. But there was also a lot of like kids with their dads learning the hobby, early stages. A lot of daughters too. Like
that's cool.
That was another thing that really impressed me. A lot of young girls entering into the hobby. So it was really fun to see, and the kids loved the break today. I was on the side of the stage. It was absolutely electric.
Yeah,
man. Let me ask something, Jack.
Sorry, Travis. I was just saying, when Whatnot's deciding who's going to do the breaks, how do you decide who does the breaks, especially with like backyard breakers, with the scandal that just happened with them? Like, how do you guys decide? Because you guys, reputable name, we know what happened with them. Like, how do you decide, like, we want these guys to do it, especially with A6 Flair?
What happened with Backyard?
That's the whole Kaboom stuff, and
they've had a
couple. Oh, I know the Kaboom, but was there something
Backyard's had. I'll be candid about Backyard. Backyard's had a couple incidents. There's no doubt. I have spent a little bit of time with them between this weekend, NYCC last year. This may not be what everybody wants to hear, but they're actually really good guys, really nice guys. I think they've made some mistakes.
What about Platinum?
Not as familiar with them, but I will say the Backyard guys, I think, have made some mistakes, but when we talk about kids, I was blown away by how many kids were wearing Backyard Break shirts. There is an entire generation of kids who are growing up, who want to grow up to be Grant from Backyard Breaks. He's very aware of that influence and the mistakes that he's made, and how that isn't necessarily the best the approach that they want to take, and they're working to rectify that. They're also, though, the biggest breakers in all of sports cards. So like when we're deciding who is going to be on that stage, we want this to be the biggest break of all time. So we wanted the biggest breakers within our platform. I think we stepped back from like publicly working with Backyard Breaks during a lot of the scandal and things like that. But as we've kind of gotten on the north side of that, I think we've started to kind of lean in more. But we also had like Card Collector 2, one of the most all ages friendly. I don't even want to call him a breaker because he's not really a breaker, but shop owner, retailer in all of one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet in all of sports cards. We had Sports Card Investor, we had C Blaze, we had Rip and Wax, we had Pull Wax. So really, like, we wanted to have this like who's who menagerie of your favorite breakers and have them kind of come one after another and really kind of share in this like experience and moment. And I think it worked really, really well. We also had like MMG, who's a big gaming YouTuber, and I know we've done some stuff with him in the past. I was stunned. He was the first breaker. When he got off the stage, the entire youth moved from in front of the stage to the side of the stage to take pictures. I watched a kid cry, hugging him and taking a selfie. So I think that like a lot of times when those of us who are passionate about the hobby, we're obviously going to have hot takes and we're going to weigh in. But I cannot stress enough how much like these individuals mean to like the next generation, and it is a responsibility. But I was happy to see firsthand how serious everybody took it. MMG, 2.5 million followers or something like that, took a picture with every kid, any kid who wanted a selfie, he stayed there. Had to be 250 pictures with kids, signed autographs. I thought
that's cool. That
cool.
says a lot. That's really cool.
Yeah, that does say a lot. That's the type of stuff we want to hear more of.
Absolutely.
I want to stress something that you said earlier, and I talk about it a lot on whenever I get the chance, and that is the relationship between a father, especially a father and a son, and what the card collecting thing can do. There is nothing more important to me than opening a box of baseball cards with my dad once a year. Like that to me is the thing that I look forward to. Like I look forward to any chance I have to sit down with my pops and let him open up the packs and go and talk about the players that he knows and the players he doesn't know. You know what I mean? And he was the first person that took me into a card shop and that told me about baseball. And that's such an important thing for especially a young boy to have with his father, that I hope to God that we continue to see that more. The only problem is that I'm worried about is the prices of cards getting so exorbitant that kids can't do that as often.
That's very fair, and it's difficult because for every kid you see who has that case of thousands of dollars of cards, there's a lot of them who could never do that.
Yes.
And I think the answer that the hobby tells you is, well, there's tops, right? There's products like that. The problem is these kids aren't dumb either. Like they see, no one gets hype for the paper tops, Tatis rookie, compared to the, flawless patch autograph, all of that stuff. So these kids growing up watching these breakers, they want to be a part of it. I will say breaking makes it a little more attainable because they can get a piece of it.
Yes.
But then there's the risk, the gamble aspect of it.
Yes.
It's tough. Cards, I think that's the thing that cards has yet to figure out how to solve. How do you really make it?
You just give them to Brian's dad because he's got magic lucky fingers and he always hits major cards.
Yeah.
I don't even do cards and I want to crack packs with Brian's dad because every time Brian comes back, he's like, "Look at what my dad pulled," and he's like, "Winner."
Yin and Dollar, because Dollar pulls shit all day long.
My question:
I just pulled a Father's Day blue.
Nice.
My question is, at these big events where, like you said, you're handing out packs and then some father and son opened up, they got Jordan in there. Is it like Vegas where there's security that's going to escort them to the parking lot, like for this stuff?
Yeah. So what we did, we handled all of this. When they hit a golden ticket out of the mystery pack, we immediately took all of their information, took their picture, went through that whole process. They were automatically entered into the giveaway. Any big hit, PSA was at the side of the stage. A PSA rep came up on the stage, immediately took the card with security and went. Luckily, the stage also, by the way, was like 15 feet from PSA's onside grading spot. So they immediately took it to onsite grading. It got slabbed, and then it came with us in our representative's lock case. If it was being shipped out to somebody, it's being shipped out first thing on Monday, and it's literally going to come back on a plane with our representative. If it was somebody in person, they're going to pick it up tomorrow in a very secure location that I won't speak about publicly. But
yeah, that's intense, man. That's
really
intense.
That's one thing about the card shows is there's a lot of armed security.
And that's money too. You're paying for that. So I would like to see the security guard who's got like a scar. Like this is a Michael Jordan 1997 over here. I got an X-Men variant cover on my knee, shrapnel.
Yeah, because it is unfortunate, but you see every year. I haven't heard about it yet, but I'm sure it happens somewhere. But there's always an incident at the National. Unfortunately, I was there last year and witnessed it firsthand, where somebody gets sticky fingers and decides to try to do something. It's the nature of it was hard going to the National a week after San Diego because as big as the National is, there's probably like a fifth of the crowd compared to being inside San Diego Comic-Con, but still.
I mean,
I was going to ask you about that.
You're going back to back.
The best of both worlds with the comics and the cards. So for you, which one's the funnest? I mean, especially, I think we all kind of grew up with cards and comics, but you always have a little bit of favoritism towards one or the other. So what do you like And what do you think, like, especially like you're talking about the kids, what do you see them kind of favoring more than the other?
Kids are definitely more into cards than comics. I think it's the nature of breaks and these kind of celebrity breakers that are essentially like TikTok influencers to these kids. And it just, my biggest takeaway as somebody who I'm a lover of comics first. I began collecting sports cards. As comics has become my job, I think I've really reverted back to sports cards as my main like PC collecting habits. It gives me a break when I'm able to like put comics on the shelf and focus on cards. Action figures as well. Action figures is another thing that I've really begun to like lean into just for my own personal pleasure. But I think as a comic fan, I am constantly taking notes from the sports card community and the sneaker community about the things that we need to bring in. And one of them is that kid atmosphere. It's why like Noah's amazing reviews.
Oh yeah.
YouTuber. So I got to talk to him a bit in San Diego. Like I'm so impressed with that kid.
I saw a lot of really cool pictures with him and you guys taking pictures with him. And yeah,
I literally told Comic Tom, I was like, that kid's going to put you out of business one day. Like he's going to, he gets old enough. He's
or he's going to be everybody's boss.
Yeah, legitimately, because he is as advertised. He is, when you meet him in person, the kid is so sharp. Unfortunately, kids like that in comics are like few and far between.
Yeah.
I don't know. I honestly think it's a cool factor. Like,
hey, I'm working on it. Give my kid a few more years. I'm working on it.
I tried with mine, but here's the trend that I'm seeing with kids. When I go to my kids' school, it's all anime. They're growing up, and it's My Hero Academia, and it's Demon Slayer. It's not Batman and Superman like it was when we were all kids. And I think comics will probably take a bit of a different form as like the next generation grows up. And I think these anime and manga properties are going to probably take really front and center. And it'll be interesting to see how, like, at least the movies are always going to keep comics relevant, but it'll be interesting to see how like modern comics can adapt to try to attract this market, or if the mentality of publishers is going to be, I can't attract them when they're 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, but I'll get them when they're 25, 30, and they're kind of ready to enter this medium. But I would definitely love to see more of that kid, father, son kind of relationship that you've got in that sports card market. But to Aaron's point, kind of comparing the two, it's night and day, because the national, if you've never been, it's all commerce. Like there is no activations. There's no like cool thing to do. It's all just tables and products. Now, look, we all complain at comic shows that there's not enough comics. So I don't ever want to come off like I'm complaining. But the other tough thing is the National's 5 days. The amount of people I met who like they blew their budget by day 2 or day 3, and now they're like, I don't know what to do for 2 days. Because there's really nothing to do. And the cool thing about San Diego is you can honestly go to San Diego with no money and have a really great time, because there's so much that you can do within San Diego, from like outside of the convention, inside of the convention, around different activations, different stuff you can take pictures with, different experiences you can have. I think the key is the balance. I don't know that one is the right way or the other. What I'd love to see is a better balance between the two, because you want to have that commerce element. But at the same point, you want to be able to, I think, have things that are going to be fun beyond just simply buying and selling.
Hey, Jack, when it comes to comics and kids, do you think paper versus digital is a big reason that maybe comics isn't big for kids? I mean, I don't know if it's different with the cards, just like you can hold them physically, or versus NFTs, but do you think that comics have to make some kind of change, or do you think that's part of it?
I think the reality is kids aren't reading. Like as crazy as that sounds, they're not. So they're into the cards because they're into that. We're coming up with a new generation of kids who are like financially savvy, way more financially savvy than we were as kids. They're very aware of what their collectibles are worth, and these young kids.
Hey, we had Beckett.
Yeah, we
and
did.
Wizard. I mean, like,
But even Beckett and Wizard,
Calculator?
You got to think, man.
The arrow up and down.
You got to think how slow
Jose
that is.
Canseco. It's
So it's going in and checking your card. You're like, oh, I got the green arrow this week.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
But these kids now, man, their level of like understanding. I mean, I met so many 10-year-olds who could out-talk me on the modern. I mean, I'll kill them on the vintage, but who can literally blow me out of the water on like the next baseball prospect. It's really, really astounding. I think we're missing that in comics.
Thank you, Cantankerous.
I've been teaching high school English for 15 years. And, looking around high schools, you never see a kid reading a comic. Every day you see kids reading manga. Now, I do Dark Knight Returns with my juniors. Like, as I have a classroom set of Dark Knight Returns, we'll do it. It's super cool. But, like, even, like, watching these kids struggle to learn how panels work. And that's not too difficult of a book. I mean, it's, Miller has got the panels on there. But there is, I think, a cachet with cards where it's like, with comics, you're reading a comic. It's the, a lot of it, especially if it's something you just put in your pocket or whatever it is, pull it out, you're reading it, whatever it is. There's no cachet with that. With cards, that pack, that thing, it's like at any moment you could be the superstar of what you have in there. It's all equal until it's open, right? And so everyone has that fair chance of being the star of the moment, breaking that pack or bringing that card into school or whatever it is. Because I see more cards at school. I see tons of manga at school. You don't see old floppy comics.
That's interesting.
I think a few different things, like cards are smaller, easier to transport, easier to store. It's amazing how much that
contraband we call it in high school.
It's amazing how it like kind of much that matters. And then I also think I think it's pretty well known publicly that I helped found a publishing company recently. We've got our first book in Previews magazine right now. We're really excited about, and we haven't announced it yet, but a little spoiler: we've acquired a very popular independent comic IP that I can't wait to be able to announce to everybody. And I think one of the things that's a focus for me is how do we get this book that we know is popular in all ages, that probably many of you, if you've had kids, have shared this book with your kids. How do we get it in the hands of more kids in school? So really working with how do we get these things in the Scholastic Book Fair? Like, how do you get comics accessible to a younger age where they don't have to go to a comic shop, which, let's be honest, man, a lot of LCSs
falling apart.
Yeah, a lot of LCSs are not the place for a family or a young child. Unfortunately, they really lack kind of the modern presentation.
They're intimidating. Comic shops, a lot of comic shops can be intimidating.
Yeah.
They can be. You feel lost if you don't know what you're doing. You feel lost. It's the rise of the combi shops, right? The shops that have pops and toys and action figures, because Toys R Us isn't a thing anymore. So it's the comic shops that are toy stores and comic shops. Those are comfortable, but those are few and far between. And the pure comic shop, the stores we like to go into, they're not welcoming to parents that have kids that are into comics that the parents aren't into comics. They'd rather just buy their kids their stuff online and stuff. And so a lot of these kids aren't being introduced into comic shops. And so, I mean, it's a weird point in the industry for sure.
And my traditional background prior to Whatnot comes from the retail industry. I worked in sports cards originally and then sneakers. And there's not a lot of retail professionalism at a hobby shop of almost any kind. But the sports card stores that have kind of come up in the last few years, I think have really done a better job kind of elevating the traditional hobby shop. I think that's there's some comic shops, by the way, this is not across the board. There's some comic shops that do a fantastic job of this. But I think we've all been to the dirty, smoky comic shop with the old carpet,
the sticky carpet.
Yeah. And I even told the story on the Marvel stage. I was asked by the co-host Langston, who's their main influencer, what my favorite character was. And people laugh every time I say it, but it's Darkhawk. And the reason Darkhawk is my favorite character is as a as a 6-7-year-old kid in like 1991, 1992, it was intimidating to go to a comic shop and like Hulk is on issue 400 and something. And, you know, how do you get started? So Darkhawk felt like this character who was created for me. It was a teenage character at a time when I was like, you know, way preteen, but was a young kid. And it felt like something I could get in on the ground floor. And even though comics reboot constantly, there's still this very big awareness that like Hulk's been around forever. And it's not like if you pick up Donny Cates' Hulk #1, you can just start from scratch. You know, you're coming into this with a very well fleshed out story already. So I think the solve for what to do with the next generation is something that I think the whole industry needs to take more seriously. And we got to stop segmenting the industry. Like these books are for kids and these books are for adults, because the kids don't want the books that you tell them are for kids. Yeah. And the adults won't buy a book once you tell them it's for kids, even though it could be an absolutely great book.
Well, there's also the sense that people our age who are fathers of like teenagers or young kids and things like that, there's not that act of rebellion of going up and reading comics. There's not that thing. It's just, oh, you know, like there is that beauty of being passed down, you know, like father to son. That's a beautiful thing, like fishing or something like that. But then there's all that, the way you like the music that your older brother passed down to you, not the music that your parents listened to. And so there's a sense of it's comics are in this weird phase right now where it's just, you're right. It's just like, how do we get them in the hands? Because the stories are good. And that's what young people want, the stories, not the collectibles, not the, you know, speculating. They want good stories that they can, you know, sit with and read. And so how do we get them in their hands? And it is, all those points are very good, but it is very puzzling.
There's also that point about, you know, your older brother or older sibling, like you want to mirror them. You don't want to mirror your parents. I think that's spot on. I didn't even think about that because like I try to give my son different things and, you know, some stuff he goes for, but I mean, he's really tiny, but I mean, that's like, I started listening to like Master of Puppets because my brother had it on in the other room, not because my mom had Placido Domingo downstairs. So,
yep.
Yeah, my daughter went from telling me I was washed to now telling me I'm mid. I had to learn what that was recently. Like, so like you're just never gonna be cool in your kids' eyes.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. But I think the thing is, and I think some publishers have started to figure this out. And I think Jack's one of them. I think this is something that's in the forefront of Jack's mind. Is like the future is, if you want to get kids into comics, you pick up IPs that kids are already into, and then you turn them into comics. If you want to get kids in comics, look what the Fortnite crossover, DC crossover, look what that did to bring kids into comics. It was
people laugh, but those did huge numbers.
My son got the one that was in my hold yesterday. I haven't been to my LCS in over a month because Jack knows we've been grinding cons side by side, you know. But Jonathan went and picked up our holds. And by the way, we had 1 in 25 Souza Miyakas out the fucking ass, which, you know,
that's funny.
But yeah, so he ends up bringing this Fortnite book back to my son, and he grabs it, and it's polybagged. And I made sure I got him like cover E, which was the who was it?
Was Snake Eyes on that one?
No, it was a legendary comic artist. But anyways, so I hand it to my son. I'm like, here you go. Here's that Fortnite book you wanted. And today I walk up into his room. It's not even open. I'm like, you're not going to read that? And he goes, no, I'm going to keep it sealed. You know, and it's like, but I started to realize like I ruined my son. My son only now reads comics for investment purposes, and he's 11. Like I've destroyed my son on that. So
raising a speculator,
paperbacks, and I took him up to him. I said, "Here's some books you can read. Like read these, you know." But I like if you want to talk about like the savvy investor that kids are kind of becoming, it's going to be. I think you're going to see a heavy transition to trade paperbacks. You're going to see a heavy transition in all age books, right?
It's already happening with the trade paperbacks,
but like all the action. And I think you're going to see a heavy transition into publishers buying up IPs that surround popular video games, popular TV shows that are that hit that prime 13 to 17 age ratio or 11 to 17 age ratio. And that's, you want to ask how to get kids into comics. That's how it is. You buy it, children's IPs or kid IPs or all ages IPs and you transition them into comics.
Yeah, and I think Justin raised a question in the chat that I think, he said how many of those comics are being read, though. I think they just want the codes for the skins. I actually think the codes for the skins were the trick move. So, yes, it kind of reminds me of NFTs, where it's like if you have a utility, like a lot of people dog NFTs, or it's early stages with them, and the key is, yes, like collectible art NFTs, most of them are going to flail out. But if there's a utility that gives you some sort of thing with that, those projects tend to be successful.
Yeah.
What I think was unique about the Fortnite comics is that there was a utility. Not only did you get this comic, but you also got this physical thing in your game that allowed you to add to your gameplay. And a lot of kids, they bought them for the codes, but then once they had that book, they were reading them. I know that's what happened with my kids. The only comic I've seen my daughter sit down and read in the last however many years was the trade paperback of the DC Batman and Fortnite crossover. Yeah. Because once they had that and they had opened it and taken the codes out, then it was like, oh, I'll read the book. So I think that was like, how can comics be creative like that and find other ways to attract an audience? And what you can't do is expect kids to conform to the way we did it. And instead, we have to meet them where they are. I think that goes so much to parenting. When we try to parent like how my dad did it, that doesn't work. You have to really kind of like meet kids where they are today. And the more that you can kind of do that, the more success you're going to have. And the same goes for like business and trying to acquire these kids as future of our hobby, because it sounds dirty, right? It sounds like you're trying to like market to children, but that's the only way that this hobby stays alive, is if we can continue to foster another generation that's going to support these things.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's funny. I actually mentioned like a Fortnite comic that sold for whatever amount of money. Like it was like the 1 in 500 from the DC crossover, and then someone actually reached out to me on Instagram, and they were saying that like I was never into comics, anything like that. That price was actually pretty low, and I actually got into comics from playing Fortnite. And then he's like, and I actively went out to go like pick up every single book, like, and I was just like kind of like I was like that's insane. Like I didn't expect someone to like never buy a comic in their life to all of a sudden becoming a completionist of getting every single book that's out there that's a crossover.
Well, Fortnite's been great for that, because like I remember one day getting done with work. I work from home. Our company's fully remote. I work in my office, and when I came out of the office, my daughter goes, "Hey, Dad, who's Carnage?" And I was like, "Excuse me?" She was like, "Who's Carnage?" And so kind of, I got excited, right? I went into that whole like origin breakdown of Cletus Cassidy, but she was like, "Oh, he's a new character in Fortnite." But it's like at the end of the day, who cares how they're getting into this? And
who cares how they get there as long as they get there, right?
Yeah. I think they're doing a Persepolis Fortnite version, aren't they? The Persepolis skin. That's what
my son asked me for all the DC ones, and he actually read the first one. He's like, "Can you grab the rest?" I'm like, "Sure." And he grabbed the rest and he read them and he loved them, and he was coming down here and he's telling me, and it sounded like I couldn't. It's probably not something I could have gotten into, but I realized at that moment that was the point. DC wanted guys like us to buy them, read them, and they go, "Here's son or daughter. Here's a code. Go use it on your game." And I think that was what the plan was. But what ended up happening, right, is those of us were like, well, shit, Fortnite's got a following and the comics have a following. Let's buy 10 or 20 of these. That's kind of the route it went. But I think there was enough of us that did it the way DC had initially had planned, right? Because my son has a good comic collection, but he hadn't sat down. Like I bought him he's got Something Is Killing Children. He's got, what was that other Boom title that they just put out a hardcover for? Seven
Secrets?
Yeah, 7
That's a great series.
Yeah. So I've been giving him stuff like that. Like these are good books to read, and he's been loving them. But like as far as comics, those were like his first like paper comics to read. He's got a good collection. He's got first appearance of Vision. He's got a bunch of other books. He's picked out some great books that he wants me to get graded. They're like, you know, not super crazy, but like he loves the covers. He loves the artists that are around him and stuff like that. You know, so we get him graded. But his first books to read were those Fortnite books. And that's kind of what brought him into like, hey, he told me there was a new Fortnite book before I knew there was. This awesome? One that came out. He was like, "Hey, Dad, will you add this to your hold?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, I didn't even know." Oh, it was the Bill Sienkiewicz variant is what I ended up grabbing him. You know, and he saw it. He grabbed it. He goes, "This artwork is amazing." I'm like, "I know, isn't it? Check out the other artwork he's done."
James,
by the way, here's the cover that he's done for us. You know, like
when he was younger. Okay, this is one thing I'm curious about because I remember like when we were growing up, you know, you could read a comic when you're kids because like it was actually made for us.
Yeah.
But the comics now, it's almost like they're made for, they're still made for us. They're not made for 7, 8, 9, 10, 11-year-olds.
So I'm not a good example.
I feel like there's a difference there. Like G.I. Joe is still, I feel it's still made for me.
I think that's what Fortnite though did well because I actually read the trade. At the urging of my kids, I read the trade. And first off, I will also say for the speculators, let's throw this in there. Fantastic Four 24 from the previous volume is the first appearance of Fortnite and is a super slept on spec book that was like closed out at Midtown at like 99 cents. So I think that's one thing.
It's got to be in one of Dollar's presentations.
Yeah, I think that's one. Of those books to like grab and ice. Having said that, like the first volume of the DC series, like as a G.I. Joe fan, you mentioned G.I. Joe and they get to be excited. The reality of a Batman and Snake Eyes crossover is fucking amazing. Beyond that, issue 2 of that series is a total homage to the silent issue.
Yes.
It was awesome. So I thoroughly actually enjoyed it. Even though I didn't understand anything of the Fortnite aspect. I felt like the dummy in the room asking my kid questions about Fortnite. But I actually enjoyed it way more than I thought I would. I read it in one sitting.
Well, I see what Dave's talking about in the sense of like the creators. So when we were growing up, I'm 38. So when I started getting comics in the 80s, everything on the spinner rack was the best that the industry had to offer writer style, but they had to work within the boundaries of all ages comics. Now you have like the best in the industry that are like Brubaker. Brubaker's writing Reckless. It's freaking amazing if you're 38 years old and you know what like pulp fiction is. But is that going to be that? So when the best in the industry are being given carte blanche to write whatever they want, who's left to write the stuff that's available for everyone else as well? Does that make sense? Does that argument make sense?
No, yeah, and I think that's the point. Yeah, that's the point that I was trying to say earlier about like segmenting the market. That sucks. It's like, so like when we were kids, comics, we were told like comics are for kids. So when you got older, that wasn't something you were supposed to still be into. And then comics leveled up. And now we have these amazing graphic novels that are being taught in colleges. And we have truly some of the best writers, I will argue, in like modern fiction writing in comics. And these stories, that's why they're like the inspiration for all of Hollywood. And then what we do is then we take that and we put that aside. And then just to use a property like Canto. Canto's I've been a long proponent of that book. I love David and Drew. That book is amazing. I don't care what age. But unfortunately, it gets bucketed as a kid's book. So it doesn't do the numbers that it probably should be doing because it just isn't viewed as a book. All ages doesn't unfortunately mean to most buyers all ages. It means kids. So that I think is something that we need to find a way to change. That's why I actually hate all ages racks at LCSs. I would prefer a knowledgeable salesperson who can walk a parent or a young child through those.
Yeah.
I'm glad we finally got an expert.
Yeah, that's what James was talking about earlier about like getting the IP that kids like. It's getting the IP and then getting writers that age group who are in love with that IP, who are like, I don't want to write the Batman. I don't want to write my own stuff. I want to write Pokemon. I want to write that comic.
Adventure Time, the stuff like that. Yeah.
You need the talent within the
Adventure Time.
There you go.
There's an episode about comics and Adventure Time.
Yep. And they started reaching Adventure Time comics. What did you think about the DC Fortnite crossover?
Really liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
There you go.
But why?
From an expert.
Yep.
Yep.
But is it because you like Fortnite the game?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it also implemented with a storyline of the game, so it's important information to know.
Love that.
Look at that verb implemented, used in there, James. Well done. I like that kid.
This kid's vocabulary is next level, by the way.
Stunner,
There's a lot of books. Actually, I think you'll be good. He's a scholarship kid right there.
Yeah, no kidding. And well, he won't need a scholarship with the collection he's building right now.
Oh, so you don't have to pay for his tuition. He's going to pay for his own tuition.
No, I went to San Diego Comic and I'm like, you want toys, you want art? And he goes, I want art. So he's got one of those Pardee prints.
Nice.
Yeah. I bought two
Congrats.
of them. One's going in his room when we move into the new house. So.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Jack, I sent you a message, brother.
I saw.
I think we're pretty damn close to each other.
It's pretty close, man. It's pretty close.
So my house has a private golf course. So if you ever want to come swing on through,
we gotta have to do that.
I'll let the security guard know to let you through and we can play some golf.
Jack, are you in South Carolina or North Carolina?
South Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina.
Yep.
Oh, you're in Charleston. Okay.
Yeah, it's right down the road from me, man. Like literally, like I could. Next time he doesn't answer a text message from me, I'm knocking on his door 20 minutes later. Is what's happening.
Let's go.
Take him down to Debbie Doo and go play golf. There you go.
Yeah, Nate's gonna be in town in August. We should all get together.
Yeah, I'm from North Carolina.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, hey, you guys, I want to say thank you to everybody that made San Diego possible. And Jack, continue doing good things with the National. You're there the rest of this weekend. Hopefully you enjoy your stay there, man. I really, really think it's cool what Whatnot is doing and everything that has happened in the last couple of months has been very, very impressive. So continue killing it, brother.
No, thank you so much, man. Appreciate having me on to come talk about it. And I think that it's really the community that we're building. That word gets thrown around a lot. I think it misused and, let's be honest, abused.
Yes.
But I think that the communities that we're building within the platform, within each individual category, it's really being both here and then last week in San Diego, watching the way like sellers are supporting each other, are helping each other, are collaborating with each other is the thing that gets me the most excited, because I remember just a few years ago when we were all slitting each other's throats trying to get space on YouTube. And it's so much better now in my mind. And to be able to like play like a tiny part in that, I'm proud of. But really, it's every single member of the community, everybody on this panel who has like really kind of like changed the course of what we've been doing in a very positive way. And I'm very excited to just be a part of it.
It's been amazing as a retailer. There's been this transition over the last 6 to 8 months. There's been a lot of I don't know if it's online distrust or what is going on, but retail sales across the board on ask anybody that owns an online retail store for comics. It's been hard. It's been rough. Whatnot, for those of us that have reached out to Whatnot and have embraced it, has been a absolute godsend. And not just from like a point like, some of us have been on it long enough and established a good enough basis that we're seeing great numbers, but even people that are only doing it once a week and they're just slinging books on their spare time. I mean, it's the amount of people that we have reach out to us or that we see that are like, dude, I lost my job for 3 months and was in transition and sold some of my books on Whatnot and was able to like, dude, it's been nuts. It's been really cool to see. And some of those guys, the greatest moment I've had on Whatnot real quick was I hopped on, God, I wish I could remember the retailer's name, but I hopped on there. They were slinging some hot books one night. They got 3,000 followers and I hop on there and that buying one of their mystery packs. And the guy goes, "Oh, Hive Comics gets the win." This dude jumps out of the background and he goes, "Oh my God, Hive Comics." And he goes, dude, if it wasn't for, he goes, I started slinging your books off your website 2 years ago. And the second Whatnot started selling comics, I was on here. And he's like, dude, if it wasn't for you, he's like, I've got 6 employees because of you guys. And he's like, he sent us like, we ordered 3 books and he sent us a stack and a hardcover. I didn't realize he did a hardcover for Something Is Killing the Children. Like he did one of the exclusives for that.
Was that Anti-Hero Gallery?
Anti-Hero. Yeah. Anti-Hero was like, if it wasn't for Hive Comics, I'd never be buying your guys' 10 packs and slinging them. And then Whatnot came along but I guess he was like a day one adopter into Whatnot. And the dude's been like killing it. And like to know that like that exists and that community exists, dude, it's been nuts. We go to shows and people are like, hey, thank you for jumping into my show the other night. And we're like, I can't remember jumping into that show, but like, and they're like, dude, it made all the world to me. It gave me so much energy and stuff. Awesome. And like, it's crazy though, that the sense of the comic community and then the sense of the Whatnot community is like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Like being part of the comic community for the last few years has been a godsend. It's been amazing.
It's just on all of us not to fuck it up.
Well, man. I think that Jack, I think that you kind of hit on it, and we'll end the show tonight on this, you guys. I think that a couple of years ago, the way Jack put it, we were all kind of slitting each other's throats to get whatever piece of the pie we could. I think that the majority of us realize that that's not the ball game we want to play. Yeah. We don't want to be anywhere. We don't even want to enter that ball game. You know what I mean? It's not for us. And I really think that once you realize that it's less about hate and more about the community, the real community aspect, being able to go to put down everything and drive out to San Diego and meet 10 new people that you've never met in person. And, walk into, I walked into the Whatnot shindig, never having met any of those people, never having met Nerdy Girl, never having met Enraged Theo, never having met any of those guys, and just had a really, really good, enjoyable time being around like-minded people without any of the silliness. And that's the important part.
You feel like you've known them for years because you have so much in common, because this is what you have in common.
Yeah. So great show tonight, gentlemen. I'm going to go try and kick the rest of this COVID this week. But we're going to continue to rock it. Make sure you guys are following all these people on any platform they're on. And I want to say again, thank you to everybody for getting this channel to 1,000 subs. We've got plenty more to come on in the next couple of months. So we'll see you guys later.
Adios. 1 second, Brian. 1 second. Right. Guys, because of the 1,000 subs on Stein and Brian's channel, I'm giving away $1,000 FMV of product. That's comics and or sealed product.
Jesus, bro.
Oh, wait, not to one up him, because I feel like that's way over a one up of what I would do.
No, $1,000, 1,000 subs. We should do it all across the board.
I'm dropping a shit. Brian's
dropping a shit.
No, yeah. Beyond Wednesday, by the way, capital B, capital W, is an active 20% off code for Gun Honey from here until eternity.
Wow. Thank you,
on
brother.
the website. So beyond Wednesday, capital B, capital W.
There you go, you guys. That's how we do it. Community.
Make sure you spell Wednesday right.
There you go.
Yeah.
Much love, you guys. We'll keep in touch and make sure to sub up. We'll be in contact. Adios.